Okay.
You can go
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, mute it if you need to work on it.
What's good, people?
Uh, what's up, you guys? Hi, chat. We are finally live. It's been a whole week since we've seen you guys, but we have a lot to catch up on. So, you know what's crazy is this preseason was just giving me, I don't know, I've said this before, it felt like almost 21, 22 vibes where we went undefeated in the preseason until we met our match in the Spurs and Wemby. And I wanted to ask your guys' opinion on that game, right? Like we got through the Lakers, the Kings, two of the toughest teams in the West, and then we lost to the Spurs. And just watching Wemby, I want to start there. Like, what were your thoughts? Like, it feels different when it's just like any team or seeing clips, but like seeing Steph and Wemby from that, the very first tip off and throughout that whole game, like I'm sold now. I'm sold. So what do you guys think about him?
Man, for me, I gotta say it's hilarious the amount of people who tried to tell me last season that he was gonna be Bol Bol, that like Bol Bol is like a similar architect, and it's like
Yeah.
people just didn't appreciate what Wemby was doing because it's overseas, it's not
Yeah.
here, he's
Right.
French or whatever. But I knew that he was gonna be very good, and what we've seen so far, I mean, the defense has been just absolutely stunning and outstanding. What he did versus Golden State in the span of 3 minutes. I mean, the block on Klay, how he got back, held it, dunked it. Like, just he's a very, very good player. But more importantly, the green light to not want to be passive, to want to score, to want to put up 18 shots. Like, what he's doing with that has been extremely impressive. And this is him still young, not really having the frame to fully play the five. I mean, obviously, for right now, Zach Collins is going to be doing that. But
Yeah.
Wemby's defense to me is going to be all defensive caliber this year. Now, is he going to play enough games to reach that threshold to get it? I don't know, but he absolutely has that impact. And my biggest thing in the game was as soon as he went off the court and our bench came in, our bench actually made it a much closer game without him playing basketball. So
Yes.
his impact is definitely felt for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I told Wemby generational talent, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is that I think he needs to get NBA ready in terms of shape. His build is obviously very unique. A 7 footer who moves the way he does. Like 7'4" actually. I'm doing not a right service to his height. But yeah, I just think the only thing that he needs to work on is just playing more. Like once he gets in rhythm of playing in the NBA like in an NBA game, because like he'll give you minutes of like in the beginning where he had like that 12 straight points or whatever. He was going crazy, but then like he'll gas out for a bit and then like he won't be able to put up the production that he needs to put up. So like I would probably say going forward, just getting ready in terms of your endurance, your stamina, and just like being able to sustain the level of play that you do at a higher level. But it's his
Mhm.
first year, and if he's giving you spurts of like generational play, then like you really
Yeah.
can't complain. To be honest with you, he's like an insane talent. So
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say low key, like I mean, we critique from the moment from now before they're in the league, right? We pick them apart, but like my biggest thing with bigs, especially, and I'm never sold. I'm always like, ooh, I'm never all in on, especially with like Chet. I was like, nope, like this dude's gonna break down. And Wimby might, right? Of course he's not NBA ready. He's like he's not even started the season. So it's just gonna take some time to put on some weight, and build some muscle, but he's gonna do it. And for the most part, what I saw from him, like he's an all-around player. He plays solid defense and like and what's the best way to build your understanding and build those muscles, it's playing in the league. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's gone up against a super tough defender yet. They played the Nets, I think, at some point. Have they played the Nets? Maybe not. But he'll go up against AD, Ben Simmons. Like, we don't have a big to kind of brawl with him. But yeah, it was crazy to see him, and I'm excited for his time in the league for sure. But from the game prior to that, we played the Kings, right?
Great game.
And great game. Some people are even saying it's the best preseason game of all time, which I'm on board with, but that might be a little exaggeration. But yeah, what'd you take from that game? Steph in his greatness, still a GOAT, still an MVP candidate in my opinion. What'd you guys think?
I think that game was so telling for me because both teams at the end took it serious, where they could have just sat their players. Nope, like They had their starters in the game. Obviously, we had no Draymond. We got a chance to see a look at what Chris Paul closing out games would look like. And I got to say, he was finding Steph and getting the ball to Steph in the crucial minutes. And honestly, the point of the trade is, to consolidate Poole's contract for sure, but also to have a higher floor with another ball handler closing. And I think Chris Paul absolutely showed his value there, but I just like the fight of the team to get back, because I think the Kings control the big portion of the game, but down the stretch, Steph just closed them out, and it was a very competitive game to me.
Yeah, I do agree, man. I'm not gonna lie. I rewatched the whole game on playback this week. I forget what day it was on it. It was the day after the game happened. I tried my best from refraining from watching the game because I couldn't watch it the day of. But TL was going crazy. I was seeing best preseason game ever. What a comeback! I kept seeing the Steph game winner, like the step back that he had on Fox that ended to end the game. But in terms of the game itself, it was like extremely competitive from the jump. Like Sacramento got out to a very good start. They were like gunslinging offensively, hitting a lot of threes. Keegan Murray looked very comfortable. I'm gonna keep an eye on Keegan this year because it looks like I think he's about to take another leap, especially in his like shot creation bag. But the way we played, I feel like we played really, really well. Like in that comeback as well. From what I remember, I thought Sarge was great. I thought Kaminga was also great getting to the basket. Our bench unit surprisingly is what kept us like in it. To be honest with you, when I was watching the games, a lot of the bench production and the runs that we were going on were from our bench. So that was really impressive. And then Steph having an 18-point fourth quarter in a preseason game, very random but pleasing to the eye because like you can't really complain about the production that he puts up, and he just went off in that fourth quarter. So honestly, it was a good win. It was like a feel, even though it's preseason, it was a feel good win to like boost morale. Like, okay, in situations like we could trust each other, we could play in these situations, take it down play by play. And you still haven't had Draymond on the floor yet, and you were still able to get some stops and win the game. So we'll look to see, man. I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. We're days away now. Today's Sunday. We're 2 days away from the season starting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm all smiles right now, man.
Let's go. And yeah, like taking a sidestep, I guess, from what we actually saw in highlights and everything. Before preseason started, I think we had a lot of worries about size, and we know we waived Rudy. Who else did we waive? Somebody else. Somebody that obviously
Who cares? They're gone.
they're gone. So
Who
Rudy
cares?
Gay, the Warriors legend. We appreciate your time, but yeah, enjoy.
Warriors legend.
but keep
No.
doing your thing. So aside from that, who are kind of like the standouts from this past week? For me, I gotta say Dario has been everything I expected him to. Like we've seen him play OKC, Phoenix. Like he's such a solid role player. He does his job. He fits right into the Warrior system where he's unselfish, ready at Steve Kerr's call at any point in time. So I appreciate that from him. But yeah, I think he's the one that's he's stepping into that 5-4-5 role. Like he's doing what he can. Although it'd still be nice to get some size and get some help for Looney. And then we'll get Draymond back as well. But who's a name that's kind of stood out to you?
I just want to emphasize your point on Dario real quick. I mean, his IQ, like he is the perfect fit to what the Warriors want to do because his passing has been great. But the biggest thing that shocked me, I think we're down like 18 points or something, right? They put in Kuminga and Dario, and Kuminga and Dario immediately made impact plays. The way Dario was not just this shooter, he caught the ball, attacked a closeout, got an and one, and was consistently getting downhill. Like that type of quickness at 6'10" fits in perfectly with what we want to do. Also, his chemistry with Chris Paul and even Steph sometimes, like his popping is so legit from the top of the key, and he can attack really out of that. So I think he fits in well, and having him come off the bench with Kuminga, who just been great all preseason. I mean, I like the mix of athleticism and shooting, so that's pretty solid to me.
Okay. KB, anybody stand out to you?
Oh, you're cooked. We can't hear you.
No. I'm back. Okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right, my bad. This mic is tweaking right now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but biggest standouts for me, I say surprisingly Trace. Surprisingly, like he stood up, even though in a lot of the games he was fouling a lot. Like I think the intangible that he has, even the game, this past game right now, he was playing really, really well. I think defensively he got some stops. in the San Antonio Spurs game for what I've seen. He even stood out in the Sacramento game defensively against Sabonis, like a bigger body. He was able to like sustain the post position, get some stops. Dario Saric as well, like amazing. I knew he was going to be exactly what he needed to be for this team. Like he was a perfect four, a stretch four who can handle the ball pass, knows how to play an emotional system, and has synergy with Chris Paul. So like it was the best combination in terms of the bench production. That's why I think like those two on the bench is like you can sustain something with that, especially offensively, with the likes of Kuminga, Moody, Trace, GP2, whoever is playing around them. And and also Kuminga, obviously, because JK 30-year leap. You gotta keep pushing the agendas, man. He continues to prove how comfortable he is offensively too, especially in like the in between, shot creating, slashing to the basket. Like everything is there for him. So I'm really excited for him. I'm really, really excited.
So what from that Spurs game do you think caught up the Warriors? I think like by halftime they were shooting 60% or something. Like they weren't missing. Their offense just goes crazy without a doubt. But do you think it was just kind of fatigue, or what came from that game that you think caught us up?
I think Steph and Klay shooting the ball terribly was tough. I think the Spurs, how they kept pushing the pace off of the Golden State misses and scoring in transition really was a huge thing. Also having Chris Paul with Steph and Klay, like again, those lineups defensively, especially without Draymond, are gonna give up points. That's just what's gonna happen. But it was mainly the transition looks, like how the Spurs just consistently push pace. And again, when Victor was on the floor, the way he impacted every single possession with his length and his size, like how Andrew Wiggins tried to take him one-on-one, got his shit sent, and they got out and scored immediately. Like those were the types of plays that had us down bad to me.
Yeah. And like, what can you do against that? For like, there's just nothing you can do. So
is this my work now? Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. The mic is on now. I think it's working.
Okay.
That sound quiet? No, that's good.
It's kind of choppy, but you're good now. You're good.
That boy clicked a little bit.
You're good. But yeah, take your time. But yeah, no, I agree. And what KB was saying about Trace Jackson as well. Oh man, he's giving me high hopes. And yeah, of course he's gonna get into foul trouble. Especially, I mean, who's he had to guard? AD and went like did a little work,
I like that he's had the guard competition early though. That's really good for him.
That's fantastic. So I have high hopes, but Gifted, are we still too small? Do you think now that we have a roster spot available, who in your mind would you want to see fill that spot? Is there a name that comes to mind? Is there a position that we think we need? What do you think?
Okay, so in terms of the size thing, I first gotta say one thing, man. Trace all preseason, like you said, right? He's shown flashes, but hasn't really gotten extended minutes. The first time for me he got extended minutes was in this Spurs game, and I'm telling you, defensively, his mobility, like he had a play where he literally spun this way from the mid-range, turned a full 180 spin around, and blocked the shot at the basket. Like his verticality unlocks so much for us, obviously because they guarantee parts of his contract. I really want to see how that looks with Draymond, because Draymond and Trace, Draymond guiding him and showing him exactly where to be and leveraging his athleticism. I mean, he just plays such a balanced game from a big spot, and he got much better with the fouling in that game as well. I still think from a size perspective, we are sure kind of small, but I think that the athleticism that we have from the guys that we have is going to be able to make up for that. I still think the length that we need, I'm not sure if it's out there. I've heard people say Dwight. I think there's a reason why they chose to not sign him on this roster. I think Rudy Gay is a good veteran presence, but on the court, I'm just concerned about his overall durability. So to be honest with you, Haley, I'm not quite sure who we go out there and get at this current point to add to size. But in terms of skill players, we have that. If we can't get it big, I would much rather get another good wing who can preferably shoot. I think that would be pretty good for us to get.
And I think that's exactly what the plan is. And I don't know if you guys heard, but we got to hear Mike Dunleavy kind of share for a full quarter during that last game, which was, it's nice to know. And I made a post like a couple of weeks ago where I was like, there's like that TikTok trend where it's like maturing is realizing And what I said is maturing is realizing Mike Dunleavy Jr. was on to something, because in a way the Warriors are any championship contending team has to be pieced together perfectly, and it doesn't always look like a cookie cutter replica of something else, especially when you play small ball like the Warriors do, fast paced. And so I think a wing is exactly what they're going to go out and try to find. But it might not even have to be a star. Like we've had like Bielitsa, we've had these guys like that. They just play their role perfectly, especially when we already have Draymond and Looney. So somebody that maybe Dwight was never the answer. And I think even though that's hard to come to terms with, or like Christian Wood, like losing out on those opportunities seem like big things, but maybe there's something better coming along. So yeah, I don't know, KB, if there's somebody in your mind that maybe we should look for, or we're just waiting.
Honestly, I think waiting, because right now there isn't really anyone who you can pick.
Mhm.
You got Chris Paul, sadly, but we have Chris Paul now. And the best thing you can think about is flexibility and cap space, right? You got rid of Rudy Gay. You got rid of, I think it was Magruder that we got rid of as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I didn't like him, by the way, on the court. He wasn't really that great.
he was beefing
honestly,
Klay
for me.
anyways. Klay probably said pack him up. I don't want to.
Klay probably did say pack him up.
Yeah, so yeah, I think
Yeah.
to be honest with you, like cutting down salary, flexibility going into the next offseason, even the next offseason I'm thinking about right now. I don't even think there's a lot of ideal players that you can get, but you never know what can happen. People could opt out of contracts. People want to
Yeah.
be traded. People
Mhm.
want to go somewhere new. So, keeping your options and being patient is probably the best thing going forward. Because right now, there's a lot of synergy with this team. Like this team looks like they're hungry. This team looks like they're ready. They want to compete. So I
Yep.
say let them and continue, but like keep an eye out for certain guys. I think we still need a big, preferably. I think
Yeah.
wings is cool, but I think we still have defensive pieces. If we have a backup big or a big man, I think we have enough defensive guard pieces to like make up for any lack of wing depth that we might have going forward. So I think trying to find a big is the best possible decision currently. But if not, a wing like wouldn't help me either because size is size regardless. So if it's another 6'8" wing that can play small ball, I guess. But
Yeah.
like
I just think that if you're gonna tell me that Kuminga and Moody are gonna continually try to get on the glass more than last season, even though on paper we are smaller, we've had seasons where we've led the league in rebounding or close to it based on gang rebounding from wings like that. And if they're doing that, it makes us much more dangerous. But
Mhm.
a lot of it, bro, like the only thing that's really made me mad all postseason long and all preseason long, and we know it to be a problem, but the turnovers have been abysmal. I mean, dude, that
Yeah.
bro, the amount of passes where we can't even inbound the ball without turning the ball over, like it can't be that bad against high level teams in the regular season. It can't be this bad. Like I would much rather you try to make like a crazy pass, but it's not a live ball turnover. It's
Yeah.
the type of turnovers that are killing us. I think.
Yeah. I mean, and that's never going to be something that completely dissipates, but it does need to be at least cut in half if possible. And a lot of people said, "Oh, well, now that Jordan is gone, maybe those will sort of die down." But yeah, it's been a huge issue. But so much of that is because a lot of the rookies are getting minutes. But we're even seeing Steph, Klay had some bad turnovers. Gary had
that's
a few bad
expected.
turnovers.
You know.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
it's preseason though. We're getting out all the
No, I'm just
rust,
talking about
taking the
Klay
rust
turning the
off.
ball over. That's just
Oh,
expected. Even Steph
you are
to a degree
such a
too.
Klay hater, KB. I can't.
Nah,
Speaking
he is a
it's
Clay hater though. That's fact.
okay,
Hey,
gifted. Is it not expected out of him to be turning the ball? He can't pass out of a short roll. I expect him to turn the ball
wait,
over. If he
wait.
doesn't, it's cool.
He showed flashes. He's not the
Yeah,
best passer though.
it's been 12 years of flashes. Like, come on, bro.
He's a
That's
flashes
crazy.
is
No.
funny.
We're not
That's
doing this
insane.
here. We're not. You can do this in your Lakers space, KB, but
Lakers
not here.
space.
Well,
Yeah.
cook him.
Yeah.
Cook that man.
I'm
Cook
not a
that
Lakers
man.
fan. I'm not a Lakers fan.
Really quick though, I want to shout out this upcoming Tuesday on opening night. We have a collab show with Lakerland. You guys know the guys over there, Seven, ZZ, and Ryan Lightout. Solid crew. We love them to death, and we're gonna do a collab show with them. So that's gonna start at 6 o'clock to 7:15 Eastern time. So we'll get a tiny bit of the game, and we'll be able to kind of go at each other too. So
Basketball back on Tuesday, y'all. Go tap in.
Sir, it's gonna be great. Speaking of Klay, though, any news on contracts or anything you think is going on there? Has anything really changed? I haven't kept up on it. But I saw, I don't know if you guys saw, and I hate these things, but I think it was Joe Dumas he posted something on Twitter where it's like a picture of Klay during practice, like sitting on the bench, and he looked hella sad. Did you guys see this? And everybody was like,
Oh,
"Do you
yeah, I know
remember
Oh
something.
that?"
yeah.
And
Yeah, no, people are dragging it. People are dragging
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
People are dragging it.
I
People are
never
dragging
read into anything like that. And he definitely didn't mean to, you know, I don't know, get invoke that kind of response. But I was wondering, any news on the Klay thing, and he hasn't been playing super well. Do you think he's feeling pressure right now, or do you think
I
it's
think
all
so.
said and done? Like, I know I'm good, because no player is ever safe. Not even Steph, if you think about it.
I
it.
think
Nah,
Klay is approaching the season as he needs to prove that he can get back to all-star level for himself, and he wants, I think, more years on the contract. I think the current dispute is the year stuff for Klay. I think Klay might want 5 years. They really might only want to give him 4. So they're trying to, I think, really figure that out. Klay had a post on Instagram about saying this season is me versus the world.
Yeah.
So like, kind of trying to like prep himself up. And normally I would say players going into their contract years, that's going to be like their best years. But with Klay, I think sometimes he presses very hard because he wants to be as good as he can be. And sometimes if he just like calms down and lets the game naturally come to him, those wind up being his best games. So hopefully it's not too crazy, but that's where I'm at with it.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think Klay, I'll be honest, I don't think he'll get back to he doesn't have to get back to the level where he was before in terms of play, especially defense. Actually, defensively, I need somewhat back to what you
I
can
need you
be.
to be
Like,
serviceable. That's it.
yeah, serviceable defensively, because like you still have trouble off ball. On ball now, you're a little bit slower and you're not as laterally mobile, so you have a little bit of trouble there. But I think you could get back to that a little bit. Offensively, though, like he's a shooter. He's one of the best shooters in the league off the catch. You know, he's a great movement shooter regardless. So you're gonna seek that attention. What I need from him is to be a better cutter, like a better finisher at the basket. Know when to cut. The passing out of the short roll or just passing coming off of his screens, I think needs to be better as well. And I also
Yeah.
think that like a little bit of shot creation like won't hurt because in situations where you're leading lineups, because there's gonna be situations where he's gonna be leading lineups offensively as a scorer, he's gonna need to know like how to get to his spots, find his spot. Doesn't mean you have to like learn how to come off of a screen, hesitate, step back into like a 30-footer. Like you don't have to do something like that. Like come off of a screen, try to find the pass. If you don't find your shot, like there's simple things you can do, right? And now you have the likes of Chris Paul. You play with Steph, you play with Draymond. There's guys who are still initiators who can find you in your spots, but you just need to show a little bit of shot creation for you to get for you to actually even be better than what you want to be than beforehand, right? But I think Klay is still a serviceable player, but like the contract that he might be seeking, I don't think is going to be worth going down the line, especially if he wants to compete. He can't be taking the level of money that he thinks he deserves, even if he is deserving of it, because the Warriors want to win and people are going to have to take pay cuts for that. So, yeah.
Real quick, I know that we're on Klay, but I saw some comments in the chat. I just want to read this off because I think this is funny, and I actually haven't heard your takes on these. Guys, can we get Kai Jones, maybe get him a therapist and some pills? Are we that down bad that we want Kai Jones? What?
No, pills is crazy.
What do you
To be
guys
honest
think?
with you, I don't know if this is a hot take. I don't even think Kai Jones is like crazy. Like I think he was just vibing. I don't know.
I think that's possible. I think him saying on Twitter, "I'm requesting a trade."
That was crazy.
From the Hornets, that was nuts. I don't think we've seen that.
I don't
real.
know, man.
That was insane. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he's going through it right now. Like, no doubt. Like, I think he has pressure and voices is talking at him. And I think it's easy to just break, especially if you're like always online and reading what people like. I can't imagine. Like, we probably get we get this much, right? Criticism. Imagine being an NBA player that people just like you can't go to Jordan Poole's comment section without seeing like so much hate. It's sad. So he turns his comments off, and I respect. I think a lot of celebrities do that or whatever. It's sad. But as for Kai Jones, I guess my opinion, how old is he? Do you guys know?
He's very young. I forget how old he is. He might be 21 or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think this is just a new situation to kind of transition through. It's sad it ended this way, but I think he'll find a place in the league. I think he'll come back. I think he'll bounce back. He just has to work through whatever.
I just think it's funny, Haley, because the day that he requested for a trade, he had a song. So he was previewing the song, and out of nowhere, Kevin Durant posts like a reel of him in a music studio bumping Kai Jones. Like they need
Hell
Kai
yeah.
Jones to play rim protector and not
Then,
Nurkic.
then they
There's
release.
more.
Then they waive him. That's insane.
You're right. Then he got waived. Then he got
so
waived. Yeah.
That's insane.
Dude, the Hornets are like, what? The Hornets are falling apart, man. It's sad. It's like, what's gonna come next? It's just
Get rid of
one thing
LaMelo
after-
and sell the franchise to.
I can't wait
What
to
about-
watch the Hornets this year, man.
Sell
It's gonna
them
be
to-
fun.
What about Brandon? They just got
Trade him.
top 2
Trade
pick.
him.
Trade Brandon
him.
automatically. Wow.
Trade
That's
him.
funny.
Thing around
Get
here
rid of
Rozier and
We're ruining LaMelo Ball's career, man. They
Well,
just.
he's injury prone though. So what team is gonna pick him up? And I mean, any team
Nah.
probably.
Is he
would,
injury
but-
prone? I don't even think he's injury prone like that. I just think he doesn't want to.
I mean, he's missed a
He
good
missed,
amount
like-
of time though. He's been hurt.
No,
Yeah.
he's been hurt for
Like
sure, but
30
a lot of
games
the times
back.
he's just been sitting us because they're tanking. So like he's probably healthy, just not playing because the games are meaningless.
I
So
think this
I
year's a
think-
very important year for LaMelo Ball though, because
Yeah.
these past couple of years he hasn't had time to like really develop his rim pressure inside scoring game that much because again he hasn't been there, but he's still like a 6'7" guard who can shot create and shoot good volume from 3. Like that's just hard to find, you know.
Yeah, no, dude, he's unreal. But in the league, how it's built today, a lot of guys can do that. So we need to see him take that jump. But yeah, he's special. I want the Hornets to figure it out. It's just been crazy. But KB, this one, the super chat. From
Yeah, I
Terry
see.
with
I,
your dad
ju-
for
I don't know.
you.
I don't know what he's talking about. KB, do you remember when you said you thought the Warriors trading Monta Ellis was bad?
You want to
Getting
share?
cooked.
Was this
Getting
gonna like your space
cooked.
too,
And
KB?
you still think
What?
it's bad now?
He
Bro,
got receipts, KB. What's up?
I
What's up
actually-
with you, KB?
Terry
I'm being
knows.
genuinely
Terry
honest.
knows.
That's okay. Gifted. You know me for I don't even know how long now. I think maybe 2 years. Hey,
Yeah.
you're just getting to know me, so maybe you might think this is believable. In your heart of hearts, do you feel like this is something I would say? Be
I think this is 100% something
I
you would
already,
say.
I don't know
Okay,
you
so
that well, and
we're lying for
yes.
content. Okay. I get what we're doing.
Yeah,
No,
I believe
didn't-
it.
I don't even remember saying something like that. And if I did, I had to have been like post surgery off of like medication that made me high. Like that. Like that's the only explanation.
I think I've heard you say Monta Ellis like four times in 2 years.
So,
I
like,
don't think
I
you
don't
even
know.
bring
I
up Monta Ellis like that.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but I appreciate the super chat though. But I don't remember
Yeah.
saying something like trading Monta Ellis. No, I actually was banking on stuff even in the earlier years. So nah.
Okay, I have these MVP odds.
Okay.
Our boy's on the list somewhere, but I want you guys to tell me if it's too high, too low, what you all think of this list. Let us know in the chat. Maybe we can have some of you guys up later on to kind of share your thoughts. But we'll start. I think this is, let me see, maybe out of 15 or 20 players. So I'll start at the bottom. At the bottom of the list, actually, I'll just start at the top. Nikola Jokic, looking like he is front runner for, I guess, his 3rd MVP. So there's that. Number 2 is Luka. Number 3 is Giannis. Number 4 is JT. Number 5 is Joel Embiid. 6 is Steph. 7 KD. 8 Book. 9 Shea. 10 AD. And then under that, you'll see like Dame, Zion, Braun. So out of that top 10, what stands out? Anybody shouldn't be there? Do you think somebody's missing? And also for me, Luka at 2 was interesting. So tell me your thoughts on that as well.
I like Jokic at 1. I think it makes sense. I think because last year he played at an MVP caliber, didn't get it. The only knock that people had on him was we haven't seen him win in the postseason. So because we haven't seen that, we're going to give it to someone else. I think after after seeing how Jokic performed in the playoffs now, there are no excuses. So his regular season is going to probably be hiding way more. And also we know he doesn't get hurt and he plays pretty much like at least 70 games every season so far for him. So I think he's in a prime position and we know his team is going to also have team success. Luka being 2 is funny. And I get it. Like they've been hyping up Luka to be the MVP for multiple years now. And I think every year his team just doesn't have the wins. And he also gets hampered sometimes during the regular season as well. So I don't think Luka should be 2. I think Luka is definitely that caliber as a player, but I don't think in terms of actually winning the MVP, he should be 2.
Yeah. Like
I think you can make an argument Tatum should be 2
success.
over him. Right.
I think chances of like the actual odds of Tatum winning MVP are much higher only because of team success. Individual
Wins.
success, I think Luka absolutely should. I think
100%.
Luka should be 1 if it
Right.
came to that. Well, there's Jokic, but yeah, it's like we have to take into account what are the Mavs? Where do you have the Mavs seating? Like I have them at like It's I don't even know because what they're like 2-3 in the, or maybe even 1-4 in the
Oh my
preseason.
God.
Let me look.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Haley. I have a video coming out with all of my season predictions. I haven't finalized it yet because I have not gotten my West correct yet. The Mavericks are one of the hardest teams to rank.
Can we
Dude,
rule out Memphis
I
now?
did.
Can we rule
Huh?
out Memphis?
Yeah. Let's.
Is
Chop-
Memphis
I
cooked?
don't know about rule. I don't know about rule out. I don't know about rule
No,
out.
I'm
no,
cut.
no.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Give them seasoning. Put them on a skillet. They're
Give them
cooked.
seasoning. Okay.
They're
All right.
They are cooked, bro. No Steven Adams. I think Brandon
Yeah.
Clark's coming later into the season.
Yep.
Ja out for 25 games. JJJ doesn't look like he's taking a leap offensively. Marcus Smart's cool. Bench is whatever. They're about to be mediocre, at least in my opinion. I think they're going to be mediocre.
But mediocre is enough to get in the playoffs, though.
No. But with this West, I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie, because if you start off bad, you know how the Warriors started off. Imagine like the Warriors start off the same in a healthy season, like with a healthy Denver Nuggets, Kings, Warriors, both LA teams, Dallas. I said Kings actually.
Yeah, you did.
Minnesota, New Orleans, like all of these teams are gonna be healthy and competing.
OKC.
So
yeah.
So like, and OKC, I'd even mention them as well. So it's like, bro,
Yeah.
they're cooked. I'm not gonna. They're cooked. That's not saying they can't like compete anymore. It's just for this season.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Especially
gonna be a
like the
rough
first
start.
half too.
So I feel like for Memphis, I think Memphis is cooked in terms of winning a title. I think that you can make an argument that, okay, well, they have the size of defense. Ja, they finally have another defensive guy around him who can close out games in Marcus Smart. But even then, I would have still been hard pressed to say they're going to contend. I think with Adams gone, they don't really have a chance to go to the finals this year. But I think in terms of regular season wins, they're going to be banking on Desmond Bane, which the way he started out his year, he was phenomenal, one of the best volume guys in the league. I think having him with JJJ, who I think after his Team USA stuff is going to look extremely good as well. I think they're going to still be a good team. But in terms of having success in the regular season, wherever I had them has definitely dipped down now, because Adams, in terms of his rebounding, how he screens for guys, and his physicality, not having him and Clark for the majority of the season, it's going to be hard for us to tell me that they're like a top 4 seed. I really don't see that. I think they got to be somewhere between the 6 or maybe 7 range.
Who?
Probably.
The Kings?
No, Memphis.
Grizzlies this year.
Yeah. Yes.
You think even that's too high, KB?
I think they're like, I think they're playing, but I think they're scraping.
Okay.
I think they're scraping.
So they're playing this season.
So I think maybe.
I don't think playing is crazy, but my thing is, are you saying they're like a 9 seed going into the play-in or what?
It's 9 reaching for a 7. I'm not gonna lie.
9 reaching for a 7.
This is what I think. I think Bane is good. I think Bane is cool. I think Marcus Smart offensively is okay in a system where it actually like benefits him, like in Boston. This system, I don't know how it really benefits him offensively currently without Ja. And then on top of that, you lose Steven Adams, is a very good rebounder. And even though people are saying, oh, he's old, he's washed, he's still like, if you look at their rebounding,
he's very valuable to what they do. Yeah.
When they like the offensive rebounding, the second chance points, the defensive rebounding, closing possessions, these things are like very important. And he was doing those things at an immense level. Like, it would be like from league's best to some of the best, like in the league, to mediocre to bottom tier. That's the type of like on-offs we're talking in terms of rebounding impact for Steven Adams as well. And then Triple J as well. He was able to roam with this. He was able to shot block, deny. Now he doesn't have like a backline, somebody else who can rim protect to a certain degree.
I mean, he got Tillman, but it's like for the full 48 minutes, it's going to be rough. I think Tillman's good. I just think not having the premium what Adams provides you lose an edge.
This is my other point. You bring in Tillman now, and you don't have Brandon Clark for a period of time neither. What is your bench looking like now, right?
Exactly.
You're over relying on certain guys as well. And on top of that, your offensive hub, Ja, is just gone. So like, I respect Ja. I think Ja is like a very good creator for this team. I think he's a very underrated playmaker, to be honest. And you just lose that as well. Like, and it helps Desmond Bane with his own shot creation, him playing off ball as well too. So you're expecting a lot of these guys going into the season. That's why I just don't have really a high expectation for them. Even if they were like, oh, Ja's out, they still win games. They had a deeper bench. Guys were primarily healthy, and on top of that, they had Dylan Brooks as well. Like, who was, even though he was trash, like I still think he's trash. He just fit like with the system as well. So I'm just not that high on Memphis going into this season because of everything that's going into it. So that's just me. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did not make the play-in. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that too. Like, I'm not surprised. I just wouldn't bake on it, considering that they find a way to win games a lot based off of their collective team makeup. I think Dylan Brooks not being there, while it's going to hurt defensively, offensively, especially as we've seen so far in preseason, they're a much better team without him on the floor. And I think just seeing how that hedges out until Ja gets back is going to be the biggest question.
100%. So
Yeah,
Memphis came, huh?
and we know like their DNA they can carry, but it's going to be a different unit than we've really seen in the past like 5 years. So it's going to be interesting. Near the bottom, or I think it's 11 actually on the MVP list, is Donovan Mitchell, and I've been hearing some whispers about maybe dissatisfaction. Right, Donovan hasn't signed his contract extension, and I want to know. I think the Cavs are a dark horse for a lot of people in the East. I mean, it's really a two team race as of right now. But what do you think's going on over there with the Cavs, with Donovan? Do you think he's happy? Do you think they even have a shot coming out of the East? What are your thoughts surrounding that?
So it's funny that you say this, Haley, because literally yesterday I did a podcast with a Cavs fan. Big shout out to Zach for his podcast Across the Cavs. If you want Cavs content, go tap in there. But we talked about it, and it's like after how they looked in the playoffs, what they've done to address that slightly is adding more spacers, like more guys who can come in and shoot high volume from three, which is good. They still don't have that three combo that can play like the guards, but also can be a positive defender like the front court. That three balance they're not going to have, which makes me question their ceiling as a playoff team. But in terms of a regular season team, I think they're going to be even better based on the fact that they've only played one full season together. And this upcoming season, they're going to have way more continuity. This could be the Mobley leap year. Mobley has already been a really good player. Last year, he was in DPOY conversation. So I think the Cavs are going to be good, but it really depends on where they see. Like, if you tell me the Cavs are the third seed and they play, let's say, the Pacers or the Hawks, I think those are series.
Yeah.
You think it's a competitive series if they play the Pacers?
I think the Cavs can beat the Pacers for me.
Oh, but you think it's competitive?
I think the Pacers can make it competitive. I question like how good the Pacers roster is in terms of playoff stuff. I think the Hawks would be a much more competitive series.
Yeah, okay. I think they'd win in 6 or 5. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really high on Cleveland either. I thought last year they were like the dark horses of the East as well, because like they had, like, theoretically, you had two guards who one can score the ball well, play, make, pass well as well, and be like two great pull-up shooters on the same team. And then you also had a backline defense to where something like not the same system as the Bucks, because you don't have a Drew Holiday up top, but like kind of like funnel everything into the paint. Let Evan Mobley and Jared Allen do the rest of the work down there, and that type of thing where that defensive scheme would work. But it just hasn't been that so far. Like, I think in the playoff series against the Knicks, which is very underwhelming, especially from an offensive standpoint from both guards, I think they just didn't play well at all. And I think this season going into it, they Evan Mobley definitely needs to leap offensively. I think he needs to be much more impactful on that end. Defensively, we know how good he can be, especially with his ceiling as well. I think he's a DPOY like kind of player when he's at his best. And I think Donovan Mitchell is going to have a better year, especially in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to have that bad of he was playing putrid basket, like very bad.
He was playing very bad.
He only had one good game.
Outperformed him in that series. Yeah,
he only had one good game in that whole series, but like, I don't think he's going to be that underwhelming come postseason. But yeah, I am excited for that team, low key, because I think if they do things right, they can give some teams a little bit of trouble.
Okay. That's valid. What do you guys think about what kind of moving back to the West? Devin Booker basically, everybody was cutting up his saying where he was like, who's going to be able to stop us offensively? And that's kind of how the Suns roll. They got a new coach, they got KD, they got Bradley Beal. They're revamped, right? They've upgraded, if you will, in some people's minds.
Haley's hating right now.
I am a hater.
I love it, Haley. I love it. Keep doing you, Haley. Keep doing you. I love it.
They got KD.
Yeah, Lucas on FIFA.
I guess
we know who.
Crazy.
Yeah, we know who.
Right.
Who could stop us offensively? Well, the funny thing is, there's this thing called defense. Some
wow!
play it.
I forgot about that. Right.
Yes, but some teams actually do play this, and so I'm wondering, which team in the West do you think will be able to, if there was a matchup, and we're gonna see so much more of the Suns and like what that looks like. who gets hurt, who doesn't. Like, they're a force to be reckoned with. I'm not going to discount that, but I don't know. What are you guys thinking as far as the Suns and what you've seen from the preseason too?
So I think the Suns have looked good in preseason, but they've also been in shootouts with the Detroit Pistons, who are just a worse team based on talent. My question in terms of the ceiling of the Suns is, are they gonna win the math battle? And what I mean by that is, if you remember, right, game 1 versus Denver, in the first half, they took 3 3-pointers. They took a bunch of mid-range shots. They were getting out-rebounded to oblivion by Denver. They wound up getting blown out in that game, and they were losing the math battle because Denver got more overall possessions. They got to the free throw line more, and they got more rebounds, and they shot more threes. If you're losing all of those battles because Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal are more mid-range guys than threes, and teams are encouraging you to go ahead, shoot the mid-range, and they're not like consistently pushing pace and getting those types of looks and diversifying their shot profile, the Suns are not going to win to me. That's where I'm at. Are they going to win the math battle or not? That is the ceiling of this team, because obviously they have talented guys for sure, but defensively they're not going to hold the candle to many teams in the West.
And I think some nights they definitely will, but the off nights, no. And is that consistent enough to have a postseason run? Maybe. Sorry,
Well,
David.
I think no, go. You're good. I think that I'm a little bit different. Like, I don't know. I wake up some days, I look at the Suns, I'm like, damn, like that is true. Like, offensively, theoretically, if they do things right, what can defensive teams do to try to stop this? I'm not gonna lie. And then some days I'm like, well, like who? I flip flop. I'm not gonna lie. So,
Yeah.
in an ideal situation, I think the Suns are theoretically right. Who can possibly stop this team? Now, when I think of teams that can stop them, I think of the Lakers. One being that AD's at that helm, their defensive hub. I think LeBron still has a second side, third side rim protector. Still great. I think defensively he shows flashes, especially in a postseason setting. He locks more in on defense.
Yeah.
I think they still have Vanderbilt. They still have guys who could play post defense like a Rui. So there isn't, if the Suns aren't heavy moving in a Lakers series, then there isn't really an advantage to create for them, because that's what the Lakers lack in. Like, if the Lakers play like a movement team with a lot of motion, like the Suns, not the Suns, sorry, like the Nuggets or the Warriors to an extent, that's when they struggle. But if there is a lot of stationary, just in between, everything's being handled within 17 to 15 feet, then like people aren't like, the Lakers are just gonna be like, cool, like I'm good with this. We can live with that.
Yeah, because on the other end,
well,
they're going to be getting to the rim more, and they're going to be getting more free throws, right?
AD's literally going to be getting virtually anything he wants down there, right? So like they're
Sure.
cool with that. I think now this is where our team comes in. I'm not gonna lie. I think we have some pieces to try to slow down this team. I think at the POA, I think Garrett GP2 will do some nasty work against Booker. I'll be honest. I think Andrew Wiggins or someone like, not even Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, that matchup with KD, I think he would actually do tremendous. I think Andrew Wiggins would
in
do,
his head too.
I think he could do. I think Andrew Wiggins would do great against someone like a Bradley Beal. I think there's like guys, pieces that we have on our team to actually slow this team down. That's if they don't maximize what they actually have, because Frank Vogel is their coach. It's not Monty Williams. And Monty Williams was the motion guy. Monty Williams was the guy to come in and actually give like more eclipse sets to maximize the two players. But now with Frank Vogel, who's a defensive-minded coach, without the defensive pieces, he just in scramble mode right now. And even like to an extent, with that being said, they're still putting up a ridiculous amount of points. And we haven't even seen them at their maximized potential in terms of the entire team. So I think it's kind of like a gray area for me. But I think in an ideal situation, I think the Lakers would be best matched up with them in terms of size and counters to what they want to do offensively. And I think the Warriors to some degree. I think the Denver Nuggets have pieces as well too. But if someone like a Devin Booker or Bradley Beal like starts to develop a lot more rim pressure in a series like that, it can cause trouble because their front court tends to be a little shaky when it comes to dealing with guys who can get down to the basket, or their center just being exposed as well. So that's my like take on it, I think. But I still think they're very good offense regardless. And Devin Booker saying who can stop us, it's a valid question, because like theoretically, if they do it right, who can? And it's going to be very hard to.
I think one of the best games to watch next year, and like I highly recommend watch these games. Suns versus Celtics is going to be so fun to watch. That's a great matchup to me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
I think so. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The POA, the wing depth as well
yep.
from the Celtics as well. The defense and then the offensive output from both teams would be really, really fun to watch as well.
Oh yeah.
I just want to see like I'm not gonna lie, I want to see that Suns and Lakers matchup in like not postseason in like
I want to see that too. Yeah.
I want to see that because one, we haven't seen KD and LeBron play in like a regular season setting against each other since 2018 Christmas, and they played each other recently now, but like I feel like that was just like a little bit up to what to expect, not even like the full thing. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that too. And then him playing against us as well. Just like there's so many
gonna be
matchups
fun.
I've been like thinking about in my head for this
Yeah.
regular season that I'm just
Oh
excited.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just
there's a
excited
ton
to
of
do it.
history that's about to be unfolded, which is going to be fun. I'm going to send the link. If we have any Laker fans or Suns fans in the chat,
Did we talk about Steph being at 6? Steph was at 6, right?
yeah,
I think
and
he was at 6.
we
Yeah.
can. But I'm gonna just send this link really quick. If you guys want to come on and give
Sure.
your preview for the for tip off for opening night, which is in 2 days, feel free to come through and we'll break that down.
Bro, who put Joel Embiid at 5? That's what I
Dude, that like the sick the
I think they
saga.
did it out of respect because he came out of a MVP season, and I understand that. So like,
So we're gonna
Well-
give him sympathy MVP and then sympathy 5th spot in MVP rankings. I mean,
Sympathy
I
fifth
guess
spot.
it doesn't really matter. And I love Joel. Don't get me wrong, but like, dude, I hate the narratives. Like, why can't we just base it off something? I don't know. Can we just make sure your camera's on, and then we'll have you come on.
I might be looking at it differently, but I think Joel Embiid makes sense at 5 though, because if we're estimating that Harden is gone, then if Joel Embiid stays healthy, his workload is going to be crazier than a lot of the other MVP candidates. He might
So
not
you think
average.
He's gonna have a better MVP. You think he's more likely to have a much better MVP season than someone like Steph, or a better one?
Based on performance, I think it could be comparable.
I don't think
think
so.
that's crazy.
Who?
I don't think
Steph and who?
Joel Embiid, because that was Steph's was right behind Joel, right?
Yes, it's Joel, then Steph, then
Yeah,
KD.
so like,
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think in a situation if James Harden were to leave, I think he would floor raise. I think he would do well. I just think if Steph were to stay healthy, I think Steph would just have a much better season, especially from offensive output. I just
think with like the voters, right? I'm saying like based on the expectations, right? Like where this Philadelphia team is, if Joel Embiid is able to have another MVP caliber season with his workload going up tremendously and just have him pretty much maxi and the system of Nurse, also defensively, if he gets back to like his best self defensively, I think his name being there isn't crazy to me. I think Steph has a similar argument because a lot of people have this team at like 5 or 6. If they overperform and we get like a top 3 seed or top 4 seed, I think Steph is 100% going to be in that combo. You know, because last year he averaged like 30 on nearly 50, 40, 90. It was extremely close.
I think
if he's able to mirror that, I mean,
games on top of that, and
yeah, that's
I think
what
like
it is.
the floor raising of dragging an 8th seed team and you putting up a crazy amount of production is like a way for you to get MVP. But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon anymore.
Yeah.
I think someone's gonna have to do something like insane, like what Jokic did in 22. It was fair. It was good. He got MVP in 22, right? No, he did. He did. And Jokic.
Nope.
And
Yeah.
then in 2017, Russ like averaging a triple double and floor raising like that as well, right? So like you're just gonna have to do some insane things to be able to win an MVP off of just floor raising strength.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like someone like a Steph who were to stay healthy can, and the team as well, if they were to actually play well, would just be a much better MVP vote to go to rather than Embiid, who if he were to lose Harden. So
I just think Embiid can do that based on who he is as a regular season player.
Yeah.
And more importantly, the conference he's in. Like if he plays at this super high level, even if there's no Harden, and let's say we all would agree Nick Nurse is a better coach overall than Doc Rivers, so like the roster is better maximized, I can see them peaking as like a top 3 seed, which a lot of people wouldn't have them top 3. And that would be his argument because the East is not going to be as hard as the West will be. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, no, it's a regular season award. Embiid's a regular season fantastic player, right? So, I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
They just really make me sick. Like, it's just sad. It's a sad situation because Joel Embiid is such a talented player. I don't know what's gonna go on there. I haven't really heard too much more about like the Harden situation or all that, but
Nope.
it's just
Wait, can y'all
nasty.
hear me right now? I switched to the headset. I mean,
We can
to
hear
this
you,
mic.
but you're breaking up slightly.
Yeah, you're
We
breaking
can
up
still kind of hear you though.
Breaking up?
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little bit.
This thing is so cooked. I'm not gonna. The way it's so cooked. I don't know what it is.
I heard you say this is so cooked.
Yeah, that's all.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
This is
Oh,
so
man.
cooked, man.
Yeah, it's been rough. Okay. Speaking of the city edition jerseys, and we're seeing leaks. How did you guys feel about it?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, Nike has ruined jerseys, and like, I hate to say this, right? I hate to say this, but it's like, first off, we don't get any Christmas jerseys anymore. That sucks. Christmas jerseys used to be bangers back in the day. I loved seeing those, but it feels like every year the creativity of what they're trying to do just isn't there. There are some jerseys that I like, and they're very cool. They're very clean, but in terms of where we were in 16, 17, 15, you know what I'm saying? Like back then, like the prime OKC jerseys were great. They were great jerseys. I don't feel like there's that many jerseys that move me like that anymore, honestly.
Yeah, they're boring, minimalistic. I know, like everybody is like into like white and beige and these boring ass colors, and it's fine. But yeah, jerseys they've lost their flavor, and it's sad to see. So okay, last question for this list. OKC, I'm seeing a lot of discussions. I put out a top 10 players a couple weeks ago. I think I already read it to you. But people are tripping out about how low I had Shea. And I'm also hearing like, I think it was Gilbert Arenas. I was listening to his podcast. Hella funny. But they were talking about OKC. One of them basically said, I think Shea is going to basically like be all that, like lead this team into the Western Conference, or, like just the craziest things. And the other guy was like, okay, we need to slow down here. We need to continue to see him grow, stay consistent and all that. So are you guys in agreement on OKC, or are you kind of split as far as like where we see them going this season?
It's very hard for me, Haley, because again, every day until the season starts, my opinion on what these teams are going to accomplish changes, because I think the argument for them to not accomplish much this season is that they're a younger team. They don't have the years in the league like that. Shea was dominant last year, but this is a much better West than last year. The front court depth is questionable. They're kind of small. The shooting at times for OKC can be questionable because they're more a get to the paint transition team first. Yeah. But I think the counter argument to that would be, well, they're very well coached. They played extremely well last year, considering the fact that Chet was not on the floor. A lot of people had that team doing worse than what they were. Shea has been a good player for multiple years, and he peaked pretty high last year. And what he did in terms of getting to the basket and getting to the free throw line is going to be something he can do again. That's not some crazy thing that he's done. That's just who Shea is. Yeah. And Chet has looked good all preseason. And I think adding that type of talent to the OKC roster with the coach who maximized them to where they were at least a top 15 defense for most of the year. They peaked at, I believe, 10 or 9 during the season. That's their argument to make the playoffs. But I don't know where I stand personally. I'm still on the fence.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know. Leafs, you can come back on. Sorry, I didn't see you till you just jumped on. But KB, how do you feel? You're muted. Speaking of, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I have my mic muted. I said we're gonna talk about Iggy in a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We didn't forget about the GOAT number 9, man. Don't worry.
FIFA said the super chat is paying towards getting a KB a new mic.
$2 mic is
you know what I realized? Look, because I have a MacBook, right? So I have to connect it to this. I have a USB-C. I think the port where I connect it to is not like it has to be like dusty or dust in it because it's not fully going in. So it'll go in and the mic will be on and then it'll disconnect it. That's why it's choppy. So like I think I just have to clean it out or something. I don't know. Which is surprising because when I charge my laptop, that's not the issue. So I don't know. I'll figure it out later though. Technical difficulties, man. I'm gonna just keep using this mic.
It'd be like that.
Okay, so is OKC a playoff team? Is it hard to know? Do you have to kind of evaluate once you see more? Do you think they're gonna take a big jump?
I think they can be a playoff team to an I think they can be a playoff team. I think Shea taking another leap and just being a better player than he was last year is very possible. I'm high on Chet. I think him in that system with Shea playing that two-man game is going to be very elite. Also, my guy Giddey, man. Like I think Giddy's gonna have another leap too. I think he's like a very good as a tertiary offensive hub.
I like him.
I don't even know if that's like a buzzword to even describe properly. Like, but as a guy who can lead your offense, to be honest with you, as a secondary, if he's leading it, I think that's very good. And I think his ceiling is very high, especially with someone like Chet, SGA, J Dub, and the guys they have as well. Mind you, these guys still have a lot of picks left. They have a lot of draft capital, so they can go get guys. They can go get a Embiid. Like they can do these things. Like they have the capital, they have the young assets to go get win now players as well too. So
yeah,
even with their core right now, I'm still very high on it. And I think even defensively to an extent, this team is gonna be something special, man. Something special.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a start bench cut. And I want you guys to give me your take.
If it involves Donovan Mitchell, I'm cutting him.
I was gonna put him in there. Okay, start bench cut. Shea, De'Aaron Fox, Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown getting cut. That's not even hard for me. Ain't no well, KB. No. Okay, listen. This is what. No, wait.
In the postseason more consistently out of all three of those guys.
This is why I don't like KB because you shit on Jalen Brown with me several times. Now you're saying,
well, she said Jalen Brunson.
No, she said Jalen Brown.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, that's an easy cut. That's an easy cut for me. That's not even. No,
I'm not mad. I get to say Celtics.
I thought you said Brunson, so I was like thinking. I'm like,
okay, then switch it out with Brunson if that's more of a conversation.
That's so cheap. That's so cheap. No, that's funny.
There you go.
I think Fox can be the better player. I think from everything that we've seen, though, I think Brunson had a hell of a season. Even in his postseason, I think he played primarily well.
Yeah, he played well.
So did Fox, so did Fox to an extent. I think some of the games were a little bit overstated because he was going up against the Warriors. He's putting up like a volume scoring on like I don't even know if it was okay efficiency. The efficiency I think was either average or a little bit slightly under. Like I remember he had a game. What was it? Was it 5 to go up 3-2? Was that the game? No. Game 4 where he had like 36, but he was shot chucking. Like he was just missing. Like he was like 60. He was like 10 of 30 something or something like that.
He's the only one doing anything though, so they let him.
So I get it. Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like empty the clip. I'm an empty the clip guy. If you're gonna do it, empty the clip. You know, I respect it. But one can argue Jalen Brunson's the better player, man. Honestly, like from a scoring perspective, and I think from like just an offensive player perspective, I think he can be the better player. I think he is the better player. Now I think Fox with his intangibles, on top of the fact that he's improving as a scorer, he can pass the ball well. And he can play, and he's probably a better advantage creator as well too. I think his ceiling is a lot higher, so I wouldn't be surprised if like Fox was a better player this season. But in terms of everything now, I think Brunson's the better player.
So you're cutting Shea? You're cutting Shea out of Fox, Brunson.
No, Shea started.
No.
Brunson's bench. Fox is gone.
Okay.
I think for me, I'm gonna bench Fox, and I think what makes this a hard conversation is Brunson was very dynamic during the regular season. In the playoffs, he was the best player for the Knicks. Yep. The way that he created advantages with his big body size on the block with some of those guards was very, very good. And his three-point shooting was very good. He shot 40% on volume, especially in the playoffs when they needed him to. But with Fox, it's just harder for me because he showed all regular season that he could be a playmaker. And when Sabonis was in foul trouble, every time Fox hit big shot after big shot all season long, in my opinion, he was by far the clutchest player of the year last year. And even in the series versus Golden State, he had moments where like he shot the ball a lot. I agree. But the pressure he just consistently put on the defense and how he consistently got to the basket, it felt like his shot making was very dangerous against us last year until he got hurt. He just played really well. And I think between Brunson and Fox, I think the question is more so which play style do you, I guess, prefer more? And it's harder for me. I think I would lean Fox, though, based off where people thought the Kings would be. I think on paper, everyone knew that this Knicks team is going to be a good playoff team. I think people thought that the Kings were going to be worse than the Trailblazers. And Fox, like, he was very efficient in the paint. His 3-level scoring also improved. And I think his playmaking, even without Sabonis being in there, was huge. So I'm going to go Fox, but it's a close conversation.
Yeah, it's crazy how we're talking about the Kings when literally a little over a year ago,
the Kings were going to be worse than the Trailblazers going.
No, literally, no.
Many people said.
No, they did. They did.
They did say that.
If you're talking about who I think you're talking about, let's be for real.
No,
come on.
They were calling them a poverty franchise, and let's be honest, they were until Mike Brown came in, and then they, of course, they found their rhythm. They found like collectiveness with Sabonis, Fox, and they went out and got Monk, and it's a solid team. They're dope now. I love the Kings. No beef. Like, honestly, after my favorite like Cali team after the Dubs is by far the Kings. It goes Warriors, Kings, Clippers, Lakers. Keep the Lakers. Really quick NFL sidebar. The Bills are losing, which is sad. I love the Bills, so that's tough. Okay, another star bench cut. Last one. Damian Lillard, Anthony Edwards, and Devin Booker. Go.
Who put Anthony Edwards as high? Yo, we setting him up, man.
Yo, listen, I love
conversation.
Who?
MVP conversation.
And?
Yeah.
What, for 2K, FIFA?
At 12, he's over Dame, De'Aaron, Zion, and LeBron.
All right, so you're saying star bench cut based on MVP consideration.
Yeah.
Between Anthony Edwards and who else again?
Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, and Damian Lillard.
Okay, this is so funny to me because Dame is a second option.
Yes.
Anthony Edwards, for a lot of people, is technically the first option.
Yes.
Even though I believe Cat is good, I think it's fair to say Ant will probably be their overall first option. And Booker is technically the first option. Like, I think that's open for conversation.
Yep.
Okay. This is going to sound crazy, right? I think if you look at it, Anthony Edwards has a better MVP argument than either of those two. And I would actually start him. And the reason why is less to do with just his talent as a player.
What did you
I'm sorry. Let me break down the logic so you can listen with your busted ass mic. Thank you so much.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
Don't try to shade my beautiful mic, man. Don't try to do that shit, man.
My bad. But look, right? So basically how I view it, and I hope that we're keeping the energy consistent. But what I remember as a Warriors fan, especially, is that Steph and KD couldn't win the MVP because they were on a loaded super team. I remember that being the logic, right? So if that logic is the same, then Kevin Durant and Booker with Bradley Beal should be taking votes away from each other. Bradley Beal is not going to be in those talks, but I just think they are a super team, so that's going to take away from those two. I think for Dame winning the MVP over Giannis on the same team is nasty work. Like, I think Dame would have to play at such a high level to where he's not only in the conversation, Haley, right? But he's also playing better than Giannis. And I think Giannis, just based off being a top 3 player, top 1 player, if you ask other people, Giannis is going to take hella votes away from Dame. So it's like, there's no way to beat that. I think for Anthony Edwards, a lot of people view him as the best player on the Wolves. Yep. I think they have a much improved roster. And I think the development of McDaniels and other pieces around them, they have an argument to also be up there in terms of the West. I think the overall expectation for the Wolves, for a lot of people, isn't to be like this top 3 or top 4 team, but I think they can peak out there. And if they're doing that, Anthony Edwards will have a better chance for MVP than those other two guys.
Yeah, I don't know what this brother here is chatting about. I'll be honest.
I want you to respond to what I said then specifically, because I cooked. I know I cooked personally.
Yeah, I guess because you said that. Oh, look at this.
Nah, that's crazy. Haley, that's crazy.
I'm just saying, wow. I'm the Laker fan, bro.
Oh, no, we got to clip that, bro. That's 104.15 in the recording. Oh, nah.
Okay, listen.
I'm writing that down.
I don't know what brother Gifted here was just yapping about, chat. But
I was cooking.
This nigga is just talking. At the end of the day, Ant is getting cut. We know Ant's getting cut, man. We know. I get the logic of It's a super team, so they're going to be taking votes away from each other. But even if they do, Ant is not having the leap to have an MVP caliber season in this coming year. I just don't think yet. Do I think he can do it?
Okay.
Maybe. But in this coming season, hell no. Ant, you're getting cut, dropped off, drop kicked. I don't know. Whatever you want to name it. He's not on this list anymore. He's gone. So, what was it? Devin Booker, Ant, and Dame? Was that
yeah.
the Okay, now this is where it gets tricky because Dame and Book, they're both on good teams. They both have a secondary who's like arguably top. No, one of them is arguably a top 5 player. The other one's a definitive top 3 player. I think Dame taking away votes from Giannis is nasty because I think when Giannis is healthy, we all know who the best player on that team is.
Yeah.
And even offensively, even though he's not the same caliber of player as Dame, defensively, what he's bringing as that hub for them is just like important, and he's still their best they're still their second best offensive player as well as
and the media believes that they're like they,
and they're still pushing Giannis propaganda as well. So like,
exactly.
So I think I think Dame would get benched. I think Devin Booker would start.
All right, I just want to be clear, so my point is not misunderstood. In no way, shape, or form am I saying
he thinks Anthony Edwards is better than both.
No,
don't worry.
That's not what his logic was, though. I know what you said.
Haley, you can't. You're like
my logic makes a lot of sense. Oh, by the way, Haley,
you're like
we gotta get you. We gotta get you right after this. But
you've seen that PFP.
That was a crazy PFP.
That's just built into player's choice.
That's built into player's choice, huh?
Oh, it's for content.
Okay.
See, that's
this
what
is my karma.
I'm just
saying how I view the question is that you're talking about MVP consideration, right? For me to even be considered MVP, I think the prerequisite to that is, okay, assuming Booker, Dame, and Anthony Edwards are playing at that level. Because realistically, none of them are going to be in real MVP talks, if we're being honest with how good the top 3 will be, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm saying Anthony Edwards is performing at an MVP level, Dame is performing at an MVP level, Devin Booker's performing at an MVP level, I'm thinking about that. Then I'm thinking about their teams. Then I'm thinking about their roles on their teams. And for the Suns, again, we've seen this multiple times where when guys join forces to win and they're on loaded teams, they take votes away from each other. Steph and KD, they couldn't like win it based off of that. The only player that is an anomaly to this, I believe, is really LeBron James, because he was just that dominant compared to D Wade on the Heat, right? But in modern day, that's just what it is. And I don't think that that's going to be able to outshine them. Dame, I just think he's cooked because Giannis is a much better player than Dame to me, number one. The media also holds Giannis in that regard to be a much better player. And people are already expecting the Bucks to win a ton of games. I think the Timberwolves are a different situation where some people say they can be 5th. Some people think that they're 8th or 9th or whatever. So if they have a lot of success and Anthony Edwards is playing at an MVP level as the clear number 1 player on the team compared to those other 2, I think he has a much better chance at winning it than those guys. But it's under the guys that they're all performing at MVP levels. However they play basketball, they're maximizing that to the fullest extent, which is at an MVP level. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, no, I think that's valid. And also, like, the thing is, I like what you said, Gifted, where you said, you know, the Timberwolves could peak to maybe like 3rd or 4th seed, but is that like are they going to be able to consistently stay there? Maybe. I'm not going to put money on it, but I guess it's possible. But I think the Suns and the Bucks are most definitely going to be a top 3 seed. I think both of them will be at for the most part of the season, I think. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I like what you also said about Devin Booker and KD. It's what I've been saying, that they're going to split not only points. So when we're talking about having crazy stats, like Devin Booker stats and KD stats and Bradley Beal, they're all going to be splitting those points and scoring. So it's not like they're going to be as crazy as I think people think they're going to be. But respectfully, I guess my order would be, I love Dame with all my heart. One of my favorite players of all time. So I'm gonna go Anthony Edwards, Dame, Devin. That's my ranking.
Okay.
We go.
Yeah, I can't have Ant starting or on my list. I just can't. I don't.
Bro, you gotta think about the logic, man. It's not the players. It's the logic. It's the logic.
Even the logic behind of like MVP vote splitting. I don't even think Ant would obtain enough votes to even get to the level of the vote being where the split with the likes of Dame or Devin Booker. So he's cut. He's cut. He's cut.
Okay. All right.
He's cut. I think Dame and Devin Booker between starting or benching is just going to be tough.
Are you guys Dame fans or no? Like high on Dame or not really?
I like Dame. I don't know.
Now is going to be very impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, I don't know, because both of them might just take a leap, especially Devin Booker because of like the point guard issue. He may take a passing leap, so it'll be.
Isn't Beal playing point though, or no?
No, we know who's not playing. We know who's playing point.
I
thought Beal was going to be point because you're more afraid of Booker and KD off the ball.
Book already plays point though half the time. I feel like
I don't think Booker's their best passer by far out of the three of them.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying having Booker and KD off the ball is a lot more terrifying than Bradley Beal. That's why you would have Bradley Beal on ball and Bradley Beal.
But like I'm not really too high on a Bradley Beal let off.
And you can, but Bradley Beal gets to the paint more than either of them. Yes, he does.
Does he?
Yeah, more than Book.
I guess they're all a bunch of mid-range shooters, man. They're the same player. Like
they are a bunch of mid-range shooters. Yeah,
yes, they are. I think I'll start Dame and I'll bench Book, but Ant is getting. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. If Dame was the MVP over Giannis, some serious discussions have to be made. I ain't gonna lie.
Imagine this: Dame wins MVP, Giannis wins Finals MVP. Boom.
That would be crazy.
Boom. It'd be crazy.
I'm not watching basketball anymore.
Why?
No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
You know damn well.
Man. Who do you think would be one of the better teams to? Okay, actually, this is super early predictions. That's what we're doing. This is our last show before the season starts because next week we'll be back and we'll have real evidence to go off of, real receipts. So
we'll have games. Yeah,
we'll have games. So we will super early because we're gonna come back to this in whatever 8 months or whatever, and we're gonna break this down, see how far off we are. The earliest NBA Finals predictions, KBU start. Go.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Preseason NBA Finals.
I don't think y'all will like my prediction.
I want to hear it. It can be.
I'm listening.
I don't think. Okay, well.
I feel like you're a Suns merchant, but we could have found out right now.
You're gonna have the Lakers.
I actually have the Nuggets going back to the finals.
Respect.
I have the Nuggets. I have the Nuggets and the
Celtics.
Bucks. Nuggets. Okay. Bucks. I think the Bucks.
Okay.
I think the Bucks and Celtics are going to be running the East. I think they're going to see each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think when they get there, I think it's going to be a hard-fought 7, and I think the Bucks will eke out because theoretically, we haven't seen anything. Well, we have, but not anything of validity yet. So theoretically, I think the offensive output of what Dame and Giannis can do, especially in the high pick and roll, they still have some good shooters, can just be very overwhelming, even to the defensive pieces that the Boston Celtics have. And I just think there isn't really a lot of counters with that kind of pick and roll. Even when you have someone like a Drew Holiday, the elite screen navigator, you have wing depth, you have the gapping. I don't know. I just don't know. But it will be a hard-fought 7. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics make the finals this year. And they're probably the second favorite to come out the East for me. I wouldn't be if someone said they had them first, I wouldn't be mad. The Nuggets, I think the Nuggets are just still a very good team, even though they lost Bruce Brown, the guy who they picked up, I believe, in the draft, has shown great flashes. 6'7", can shot create and can defend, which is insane because I don't know where the hell they found him. But
who else did they just pick up? Didn't they pick up somebody yesterday?
I forget, honestly.
There's somebody that they got.
I think their playoff core rotation is still very good.
Yeah.
Along with Jokic being the best player in the world, I think they're just going to be healthy, consistent, and ready to perform in the playoffs. I think Murray's going to have another great year. I think him in the postseason with Jokic is just going to be very elite for those two. And I think MPJ is going to have a slightly better year in the postseason, especially from his own offensive output. I think Aaron Gordon defensively has taken a responsibility to be that guy defensively in terms of being a wing stopper for the guys like KD, the guys like LeBron. I think he's been very consistent in doing that. And the most important thing is just Jokic. There still hasn't been a counter to what they do offensively. And even when they go up against teams like the Lakers, who are very well-rounded defensively and even had the matchups, certain matchup problems for the Nuggets, they found counters, they found ways to work around it, and they were still producing at a high level offensively as well. So that's why I think the Nuggets are coming out of the Western Conference. Now, I am high on the Suns. I think the Suns, if they play their cards right and they actually implement the things needed to be offensively, I think they're going to cause some heavy damage, especially to other teams out in the West. I think they could cause some damage to the Lakers, the
Haley
Nuggets.
Is so funny, man.
Have you not seen them get destroyed by at least 50 points the last 2 seasons? Or was that
Haley is so funny.
I'm sorry. Like,
I love Haley, dog.
Like, I feel like we're all just blind. Oh yeah, this is what I hate actually, because people get so like amped up for something.
I said if they play their cards right. I like. That's an ideal situation here, man. I don't know what we're talking about.
Keyword if.
That's what I'm saying. If they play like to their strengths properly, like, but you can say that for every team though. So like,
yeah,
I think their ceiling's pretty high. Like, even though you could go back to last season. I'm sorry, having Bradley Beal as a third option scorer, it's pretty crazy. Like, and if you still have some solid shooters, you still have like a couple pieces like utility guys you could play with. And I think Frank Vogel just has to learn how to play with these guys, and that's just gonna take some time. Now, I think if they were to maximize this well, from an offensive standpoint, I think defensively they're just cooked. Offensively, they can have like issues to where sometimes at some nights their defense won't even matter because how good they are offensively. Yeah. So that's why I'm like a little bit high on them as well. The Lakers, defensively, their core is amazing. Everyone seems to be locked in. D'Lo looks good. Reeves looks great. LeBron's locked. AD's looked fantastic in my opinion. Their bench productions looked really good. Max Christie's looking to come alive this season as well as Jackson Hayes as well too. Like Christian Wood, I'll speak on him later. People, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything. Let's just hope he has a good season.
Man, he hasn't been good, bro. Just keep it a band and move on.
I'm not saying nothing.
It's fine.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. So, like, if I were to rank my contenders coming up, I'd probably say Suns, Nuggets 1. Suns or Lakers. This is tough, man. I'm gonna play safe. I'm gonna play safe and go Lakers 2 because I think Lakers are more proven. But if they were both to be maxed out, I think the Suns would be 2.
Okay.
So I'll go Lakers.
Suns, Celtics.
Lakers, yeah. So Bucks. I'll go Nuggets for contenders to win a championship. Nuggets, Bucks. I'll go Celtics. I'll go Lakers, and then I'll probably go Suns. Then I'm gonna put us, man. You know what I'm saying? We can't count us out. We can't count us out. I'll be honest. Like, I'm excited for the season.
Agreed.
And if we even play our cards right, and like even to get to this point last year when we were talking. I guess 2 years ago now, we're talking about rebounding. Like in the postseason, we were still undersized. Andrew Wiggins was a great offensive rebounder for us. Kevon Looney was doing some tremendous things.
Wiggins was going crazy on the glass in the playoffs, bro.
We were gang rebounding. We were doing those things. So like, I'm just healthy. Steph and Draymond going to postseason. If the bench looks anything good, don't count us out. Because
if Kuminga pops, this is a different team.
This is Kuminga's my X factor. If Kuminga actually has his third-year leap that he has to have. Yeah. We're gonna look very different, and I'll be the first to say it. Please stay on that side. Please.
He says this every pod.
Please stay on that side.
Yeah, no, it's good energy. We need it. Gifted early predictions.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Denver Celtics. I think the Celtics are a better team than the Bucks. I've said this for some time now. I think that the Bucks have a great pairing with Giannis and Dame. I want to see what they do offensively outside of the Dame Giannis pick and rolls. I want to see Dame leveraging his shooting with the ball movement more between their core guys, and Chris Middleton getting back to what he does defensively, because I still have said that they don't have the pieces defensively beyond Giannis, potentially Beauchamp, and also Brook Lopez to really hold up their defense. I think once you trade Jrue Holiday and you lose Carter and you lose Matthews in the same offseason, you are now saying our identity is no longer going to be defense. We're going to be an offensive team who can get timely stops because we have one of the best defenders in the league in Giannis and Brook. I think the Celtics just have a much higher floor offensively than the Bucks do because they have so many different options that can kill you on a given night. I think Jalen Brown having the ability to play in better space with Porzingis being a legitimate threat from deep, and also Porzingis being a guy who can be a movement shooter for them and attack closeouts and roll extremely hard athletically and dunk the ball, which I didn't fully expect. I just think they have much more versatility to their offense than before. I also think that Tatum is going to improve as a player every year. Tatum has found a way to get better, and with the weapons that they're going to have on both sides of the ball, I just think they're better. So me personally, for now, I think the Celtics are going to the finals. I don't think the Bucks Celtics series is going to be easy, though. It's going to be super competitive. I just give them the edge. And I think in the West, I still like Denver, but it is hard to win a championship back-to-back years. We just saw it here, right? Like, it's not easy to win titles like that. And I think for Denver, they're a very good team, but going up against a perimeter threat that can really expose certain weak parts of your defense matters to me. And I don't think last year we really saw that at a high level, even with the Suns, based on how compromised their roster was last year. I think this year the Suns can potentially look better versus them. But again, you got to win the math battle. The way that you beat the Nuggets is you have to have perimeter defense to throw on Jamal to really make him less productive. Jokic is going to get his no matter what, but you have to find a way to make him more of a playmaker than more of a scorer than a passer. And you have to have a potent enough offense to where they have to respect the space. If you have guys that they don't have to respect, Jokic can just stand in the paint and his defense doesn't have to get tested. The Celtics, to me, have a roster to challenge the Nuggets. So I think that going into that overall finals matchup, Jokic is going to cook for sure. But in terms of perimeter defense all the way through, not having another ball handler to create at a high level outside of Jamal, I think is a question. So to me, Denver Celtics is what I'm leaning right now.
Yeah. My completely okay, this isn't biased because it's unbiased, not because I think it's actually likely to happen, but because narratives often drive certain things. We know certain teams get certain whistles and a little bit of, some boosts that other teams don't get. So it being maybe LeBron's final season, I think that the Lakers versus Celtics is what they wanted last year. We didn't get it. Miami and Denver got in the way of that plan, but I do think that that's what the league in general wants for LeBron. They want him to get one more ring and blah, blah, blah. But my unbiased opinion, I think that the Celtics are going to the finals. I think they have to. I don't like the Celtics too much, but I do like that they were willing to take big leaps for their team to keep that duo together. Even if that meant trading away Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, like that's tough, that's like totally ripping apart your core, a core that they could have kept in order to maintain this duo and try to make it work. And so, yeah, I think Boston Celtics coming out at the East, I would not be surprised though if it's Milwaukee. We just have to see how that works. But I agree. Lopez is 36. He's getting older, although he was, in the talk of Defensive Player of the Year. I think he still can be. I agree with you. Offense is kind of looks like their game plan this season. So we could see them. And then coming out of the West is so hard to choose. I always respect the Nuggets, but they did have a bit of an easier ride last season, like compared to what the season looks like. It doesn't mean that they didn't deserve it. They absolutely
right.
But it's going to be tough for this season. And then, Suns, I'm not putting it. They'll be out in the first or second round.
First is crazy. That's insane.
You don't I just don't understand how you can't see what's about to happen. Like, I'm not just hating. Like, if you look at it unbiased at what's happened, who they have on their team, what teams win without defense, it doesn't happen. You win championships with defense. That's what wins championships.
Primarily not play a crazy amount of defense.
They didn't have to. They didn't have to. Look who they played up against.
That same thing could apply to
that's because they played Miami. Look who will come out of the East this season. It's going to be Boston or it's going to be Milwaukee, who both have very good defenses. Even if Milwaukee isn't as solid as the Celtics, it's still very good defense.
I'm not saying the Suns are going to win it all. I just think to be a championship caliber team, you make the finals at least. I think them losing the first round is insane, to be honest with you.
If the Suns lose first round, it's objectively a massive disappointment for the roster. I mean,
maybe not first round, but like
I think the Kings could beat them though.
I think the Mavs could beat the Suns if they wanted. Like I don't think it's like that big of a.
I'm dead serious.
Wait, would you say, Gifted?
I think the Kings can beat the Suns. By the way,
easily. Why is that a?
I don't.
Wait, is that a discussion? Wait, KP, that's a discussion for you? That's like hard to believe.
You do realize the Suns have a high-powered offense. They actually have a big that can punish what they have going on.
You think wait, did you say the Kings can beat the Suns?
Right? I'm saying the Kings can beat the Suns, yes.
Yeah.
Oh nah, I don't think
that is crazy if wow.
I don't know why that's
I think that would be like I think maybe 6, but I think it'll be pretty clearly that the Suns are a better team, and because of just sheer size problems for the Kings, like even if there is like there's gonna be crazy size problems for the Kings.
Sabonis and Keegan versus the Kings roster of
and what size are we talking about? Limited defender. KD.
No, KD, you have Nurkic still, and even at the guard play, there's still size problems with D-Book and Bradley Beal. So like, the Suns are a much bigger team than the Kings. Why are we acting like they're not? Like I don't. And you're really valuing Keegan Murray's defensive upside. Like he's shown some flashes of defensive ability. Like let's be real. Like
I'm not banking on Keegan Murray. I'm banking on all the guys that were there, Harrison Barnes, like Monk.
That's all you're banking on, to be honest.
I'm just looking at play style because the Kings had the best offense last year. They're gonna have the same players. I think the Suns are also going to be a great offensive team, but in terms of the different looks the Kings can get to,
like what KD would do to that team, my God.
Yeah. Oh no, KD will do that.
What Devin Booker would do to that team,
but on a consistent level. It's in first 2 games, Suns absolutely obliterate. Then game 3, game 4, game 5, game 6. That's when the Suns cannot continue to be consistent. I don't know why we haven't learned that by now.
I'm not
the Kings. No.
Okay, I just want to be clear, KB. I'm not saying that the Suns cannot beat the Kings. I'm not saying that. The Suns can beat the Kings, and it might beat the Kings. I'm just saying the idea that the Kings can't beat the Suns is weird to me. I think they can beat the Suns.
No, I don't think so.
I disagree with that. Okay.
They've shown they've shown the ability to get gassed out before in series. Well, and the series against the Warriors on top of that. And even some of the offensive output that you're talking about, the Kings, and even some of the offensive output that you're talking about. In Game 7? No, just throughout the course of the series, they weren't putting up the offensive output that they were supposed to against the Warriors. And the Warriors were like lacking a little bit defensively.
And the Warriors had much better defensive help on the wings than the Suns do.
They do. But at the same time, they were also possessions where you looked at games where like, damn, the Kings are just missing a lot of quality looks as well. And they just started to get gassed even in their own offense as well. And even some of the problems that Fox has as a player offensively, like in the series against the Warriors, like getting to the basket, he could get downhill, but it would just stop at 8 feet. Like he wouldn't get to the basket and try to create contact. I think he's doing that more now, but that was an issue last year in the postseason that I've seen where it'll be a lot of like floaters, short mid-range pops, which he can make, but like he wasn't getting to the basket frequently.
Yeah, but I think a huge part of that is who he had to go up against. Because remember, Andrew Wiggins was still learning how to get back to what he was because he missed 25 games.
Like he was still at a disadvantage.
But physically, Andrew Wiggins is a much better matchup for Fox than Devin Booker or Bradley Beal.
For sure. Yeah. But at the same time, they're going to have – I'll be honest. The Kings last season had to guard less because of just Steph Hub, and they were still struggling. If you're guarding a maximized Suns team, you're not going to be putting out that same offensive output that you're going to be putting against like a Warriors team, even though they're a better defense. You just had to guard Steph in that certain series. Like the other guys around them were putting up crazy production, and you guys know that. We watched the series.
Yeah.
So I think the Suns, Devin Booker would fry whatever POA is there. I think Bradley Beal as the third option scorer would do some unspeakable things.
Okay.
And not to mention KD against that front court, that putrid front court defense. He is doing unspeakable things to that team.
Okay.
I think genuinely, if both teams are. I think the Suns win in 5. I think the Suns win in 5 games. I'm being so serious.
Okay. And I don't think that is an absurd thing to say.
But I think lose to the Kings, I'll keep the same energy.
The Kings can beat them. I'm letting you know that now.
That I was wrong. One, because I don't care if I can say that I'm wrong.
Not yet, right?
I'll be so disappointed.
Get ready. I promise you. I'm from Arizona. I've literally seen this time again. The Suns are cursed. They will not win. It will implode. I promise. So
damn.
Well, I won't promise.
Damn. Okay.
But all this to say, I love KD. I have a lot of love for KD. I actually really like Booker. I've come to like him. I didn't used to like him a ton. I like him. Bradley Beal, solid. But my biggest question, I guess, like all hate aside, who's on their bench now? That like, because I know they have made some moves to.
Suns got Keita Bates-Diop. They got Yuta Watanabe off their bench.
Good.
I think they still have Josh Okogie as their best perimeter defender on their bench.
But truly, KB, like, where is that?
They got Drew Eubanks.
Let me pull up their bench roster.
Yeah.
Let me pull up their bench roster.
Because like I'm just trying to think about it logically and like what.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Eric Gordon, Nasir Little. Yeah.
Nasir's that's a good pickup. Eric Gordon, I mean,
Eric Gordon, is crazy. Okay, so let me name down just the main guys. So Devin Booker, KD, Bradley Beal, Yusuf Nurkic. They have Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, Yuta Watanabe, as well as Eric Gordon. They still have a Kogi. These are guys that I'm naming. Like, how many did I just name? What is that? 6, 7?
Yeah,
I think I was 6, 7. Yeah.
That's like, bro, that is still like a fairly decent rotation for a playoff team. And there's still other guys on this team as well that I haven't named. Like, Bol Bol, obviously, we'll see how he'll look. Damian Lee.
But Damian Lee's out for a long time. He's injured.
Is he?
He just had a meniscus. He either tore his meniscus or ACL.
She's right, actually. Yeah.
Did I say Chimezie Metu?
No, you didn't.
Okay, so they also have that as well. I said Nasir Little. I think Keon Johnson.
I think Drew Eubanks is a good backup big for them.
Grayson Allen too is still like very like usable. Like defensively, he's still fine.
Yeah.
I think offensively, he's a good shooter as well,
I don't know about that defensively. He's still fine.
Okay.
I don't agree.
You think he's a bad defender?
I think
when he was in
bad.
Milwaukee,
He's mid.
I think if you're talking about Eric Gordon playing with Bradley Beal and Booker, that is not good defensively. No. You cannot have those 3 guards out there. It might maximize your offense, fine, but this roster points to me
being whole scheme. That's what I'm saying.
So they're just offense.
And that's the Kings scheme too.
Like you have
and then a Kogi. That's your.
Well, I think theoretic. That's what I'm saying. In the best situation possible, I think the Suns will just put out a better offensive output than the Kings would.
But that does not. That is such a bad recipe for a postseason. I love it in the regular.
And we're
season.
just talking, but wait, we're just.
I think the Kings can do the same thing though.
I don't
do the same thing you're talking
better
about.
Offensive output than the Suns.
Why not?
I just don't.
Why is that impossible?
It's not impossible.
They have better
I just think
defenders
it's more likely for the Suns. Who? Like Davion Mitchell, I guess. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
Davion Mitchell, Sabonis has
Sabonis.
Sabonis.
Okay.
Not Sabonis. Maybe Trey Lyles. I'll buy that because he was good. He was good on both ends last year.
JaVale McGee, the nigga with asthma. Like, come on, bro. Like,
I think JaVale's gonna be better on the Kings.
Bro, come on.
With asthma is crazy.
He does have asthma though.
Bro can't play for more than 8 minutes straight. Like, I can't.
Yeah,
he'll be like a 10-minute player in the playoffs. I can see that. Yeah.
He's looking all right. So I guess they're kind of. That would be an interesting matchup. Like Suns, Kings, low key would be a crazy matchup.
That would be interesting.
Bro, Malik Monk off the bench is better than Eric Gordon.
5 is insane. You're gonna see. Actually, I'm gonna have to wait so many months because you're gonna see the Suns be so.
I damn near want to bet you on this, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, you're gonna see them, and then you're gonna be like CCC, and then when the postseason comes,
chat, are y'all hearing the Suns disrespect? It's actually insane, bro. I'm not.
This isn't disrespect. I don't think it's disrespect at all.
Don't disrespect Campaign. Campaign's on the not on the Suns.
No, Campaign's on the Bucks.
Yeah, what are we talking about here? I would never I love Campaign. I thought that was dumb to let him go. Same with Mikhail. Same with dude. If the Suns had the same team with KD, Book, Bradley Beal, or even like KD and Book, I think that they would have had a better shot than they do with this.
I'm just saying, listen, bro. Where are the Suns' wings? Do they have the personnel to stop the dribble handoffs between Fox and Sabonis? Keegan Murray taking a defensive leap and his 3-point shooting, considering the open looks they're going to have is there. And they have Malik Monk and Fox, who gave us hell last year in the playoffs, and we had better defenders. They're going to give them hell too. Like, I think that's an offensive series through and through. If you say Suns, fine.
Also say on the other end that the Suns, who on every question that you just said, it can be applied to players who are already better offensive players.
You know what the difference is? You want to know what the difference is, though? Right? The difference is the Kings are going to get to the basket more than the Suns. Is that true or false?
From who?
True.
From Malik.
Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox. Yes. Ain't no sure. It's yes. Oh, nah.
Wait, what are you doing?
This nigga nasty. He's nasty for that.
I don't know. Because when I think about it, okay, no. Fair point. Because I think KD's, yeah. I think Booker could get to the basket. I think Eric Gordon has spurts. I think Bradley Beal, maybe, I guess.
I'm just saying, KB. My point on this matchup.
Because you're not going to sit here and tell me. You're not going to sit here and try to lie to the masses, to these people who are
Who am I
watching
lying to?
Now, that the Kings are gonna have a better offensive output than the Suns. When
I don't think he
no,
ever
no, no,
said
no, no,
that.
no.
He's never said that.
Nope.
Okay,
I never.
Okay. So
KB,
now we're capping. Okay.
KB, I need you to take the Kevin Durant cap off and listen to what I'm saying.
I haven't even thought of KD in the series, even though he probably
you literally just said, "Oh my God, what KD would do to this defense."
Yeah,
you literally just said that 2 minutes ago.
On like +8, the guy would do
okay.
things to this defense.
Okay, so now take the cap off and listen to what I'm actually saying.
You take the Kings cap off, man. I'm tired of this Kings propaganda. You might put on the jersey.
I said at the very beginning of this conversation, KB, I said I can see a world where the Kings beat the Suns. I never said it was outright. I never said
that's okay, that's cool. But then why?
Okay, but then I'm breaking down why. If you would let me talk, can I talk so I can actually explain?
Glad you're playing.
Right,
I'll go on mute.
Right. So the reason why I said the Kings can beat the Suns is the way I look at this Phoenix Suns team is they have great offensive talent, but it's going to come down to what it came down to last year for the Suns. Can you win the math battle? Are you going to outright out-rebound this Kings team? Are you going to be in transition a lot, just like the Kings will be? Are you going to attack the paint or shoot threes more at a high clip? Or is your main diet of shots going to be mid-range? Yes, you have great mid-range shooters. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, a 2 is a 2. If you're telling me that the Kings are getting more to the basket because of advantages created by Fox and Monk, and they have the shooters to space the floor out and knock it down, and they have a big man who's going to put up 12 boards a game in the series or whatever, and can actually be productive because he doesn't have Draymond and Looney shading over him to help, I think they're going to be a much more productive team versus the Kings than they were versus the Suns than they were the Warriors. Now, does it confirm that they're going to have a better offensive output? No, because that's still in the cards. But I think matchup-wise, they can get off against the Suns, just like the Suns can get off against the Kings. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think that's crazy to say. You're acting like that's crazy to say when you just acknowledged to me that the Kings are going to get to the basket. Whoever shoots better from 3, I don't know. You can argue the Suns and maybe, but the volume of that compared to how much the Kings are going to get to the free throw line, off janky calls sometimes, but off the rim pressure they're going to get is going to be better than the Suns. I know that to be facts, and that's going to translate. Will they win? I can't confirm that, but I think saying that they cannot win is asinine. That's all I'm saying.
Facts. Agreed.
You done chatting?
I'm done chatting. No, that's funny.
Mel. So what you're saying is cool. The offensive output from the Kings getting to the basket, the free throw line stuff, I don't really know because there's a lot of grifters on the Suns team. So baiting and foul baiting is still very much viable, and you can get to the line like that too. So the free throws kind of can be even. I can see how the Kings can get to the line more, and I can see how the Suns can too. Whatever, cool, right? Now this is where I have a problem because in this series going up against the Suns and the Kings, theoretically, in my mind, I just can't, I could see the Kings having games where their offensive output looks great and the Suns are lacking defense. But even when guys like Okogie, Nasir Little, I don't want to say other names because I'm not really too sure how they'll look with Frank Vogel and stuff like that. You said Grayson Allen was pretty bad. I don't know how bad he would look against the Kings, but defensively. But
not bad. Not OD bad. I just think if he's out there on the court with their backcourt already starting, I think that
will make him look worse. Okay, I
understand
what you said. But I feel like Okogie, Nasir Little, I think these guys are wing guys who can do some things defensively to kind of help out as well. KD still as a second side rim protector is still really good, and he's shown to when the right defensive pieces around him. So I'm not saying now. I'm saying when the right defensive pieces around him, he can still be a positive. Let's just stop with the defense for a second because we already know both teams can't play defense crazy like that. It's just going to be offense. Now, I'm saying when the Suns are maximized and they're playing their actual best basketball in terms of how to utilize each other well and the team around them, virtually, it is going to be very hard to stop this team, even with some of the better defensive teams in that same conference. Now, if we're sitting here talking about the Kings, who are literally, in my opinion, a very bad defensive team, a team that is very, high pressure. If we break, team collapse. And then once they kick out for a few rotations, it's scramble city. Literally scramble city. If I'm watching this team go up against the Suns, who are bigger than this team, operate in the mid-range as well, bait a lot, they're it's motion oriented as well. So if you're running a lot of switch action, there's already going to be extreme mismatches everywhere. I'm seeing fries everywhere. I'm seeing Devin Booker bringing out Domantas Sabonis and getting to the basket. I seen him do that against the Nuggets with a better front court defense. I'm seeing KD who struggled against the Nuggets, who had a better wing defense, a front court defense for him as well. I'm seeing him being guarded by guys like Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. I'm seeing Bradley Beal being guarded by De'Aaron Fox, who isn't a bad defender. I think he has like good hands and good intangibles, but he's high motor and lacks like awareness sometimes. So if you're playing this motion style offense and you're going through the motions against this offense, I just don't see how the Kings can stop that. And I think they're going to have trouble doing that. And I think even against the Warriors last year, even though they had a better defense, there was games where the Warriors offense looked really good, like in game 3, and the Kings just got gassed because the team offensively was actually playing well. And when you have a team playing well in a series, everyone has to guard. So their legs got tired. And I just think, even though this team is younger, they still have much more to prove. And the Suns just have more proven guys, as well as guys who are really capable of going off in series as well. KD and Booker alone, like I don't even have to bring up Beal, have shown the ability to go off against much better defenses, even when they lack the defensive like need on the other end, and be able to flurries and I guess backpack per se to a playoff series win. So like I'm not hearing this King series thing, bro. Like if the Suns were to match up with them, it'd be much more extreme defensive problems for the Kings and the Suns. Like I just point blank period. That's just what I think.
Okay.
I think KD would just absolutely get off in that series. I think Devin Booker would have an amazing series as well.
Okay, so then my last rebuttal to this, because I know that we got to move on from this, right? But my last rebuttal to this would be how I'm looking at it is the pressure the Kings put on teams. The reason why the Kings were so aghast and tired versus Golden State is the style of offense we run, where you have to chase Steph, you have to chase Klay, and that's consistently pounding on you for like a full series through and through, right? When I'm viewing the Suns as a team, I'm thinking about Kevin Durant, Beal, and also Booker, to where, yes, they're great individual scorers, but are they moving off the ball at the same pace? Are they making defenses have to waste so much energy trying to guard them? No, because they're going to be comfortable with getting to their shot pockets in the mid-range. You're going to see some off-ball stuff where Booker might be off the ball more running, sure, but they're not going to be as in motion as Golden State will be. Also, Golden State's defense, to nullify Sabonis and make him look worse, I think they were more equipped to do that than the Phoenix Suns will be as well. And how I'm viewing it is the consistent pressure from the Kings on the Suns defense is going to make it a more up and down type of series. And I think if the math is in the Kings' favor, the Kings can win. Now, I don't think what you said is wrong in terms of Booker and KD, how proven scorers they are against much better defenses. I could definitely see that and buy that. But I don't think that that means anything considering to the Kings' offense and what they want to get to. I think unequivocally, the defense that the Kings played last year against us was a better defense. They had a ton of threes that they missed, which you can chalk it up to shot variance of the guys just not making shots. And I think against a series in the Suns, it could look different. Now, it's not confirmed, so we obviously have to see. I'm going to be bookmarking these regular season games now that we've had this long-ass conversation. But that's my take on it. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, bro. Suns at 5. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll be honest. Suns at 5, man. Let's we only have like what? We have like roughly 20 minutes. So for this last segment, let's talk about our beloved number 9, man.
Andre, man. Yeah.
Andre Iguodala, man. He should have had I feel bad because he should have had a bigger segment, but it's cool though. Iguodala officially retired from the NBA. How many years did he play? I think 19 seasons. I believe.
Yep.
Man, big, huge contributor to the Warriors like run. Big.
Huge.
As soon as he got here, it was immediate impact. He fit in like a glove. Steve Kerr loved him. Obviously, the impact that he had in the 15 finals, him becoming a starter and having that impact he had on LeBron going into that series was also amazing as well. I think he was like one of the better wing players, two-way wing players in our league. Like he was just elite for us, honestly. He gave us years and years of just pure basketball like intelligence, The defensive like guy he was, honestly, on the other end paired with Draymond was elite. Offensively, he played well in the system. He helped Steph, he helped Draymond, and he helped lead some of the younger guys that we have as well. Like when Wiggins first got here in 2022, when he came back, when Andre Iguodala came back, I remember him coaching Wiggins, helping him out defensively, telling him things like in the Celtics series, like don't let these switches happen. Like don't let a soft switch happen. They want the mat. They don't want you. Like he would tell them they don't want you on them because they know the type of defensive player that you are. Like give guys motivation, say the right things at the right time, and like even help guys when he's not even playing, right? And you just gotta appreciate that, honestly. Like he was one of the main cores for us winning these championships and helping us like throughout these entirety of the year. So honestly, like I appreciate obviously Iggy, and yeah, man, Warrior for life, no cap. His jersey's gonna definitely be up in the rafters with the rest of them boys once it's all said and done, you know?
Yeah.
I think for Andre, man, and like I can't say this enough, but I think the way he should be remembered is as the ultimate winner. Like, I mean, the sacrifice that he gave to come over and under a first year head coach, say, you know what? I'll come off the bench. Like, I'll sacrifice. Let's win these games. For him to do that as a veteran player in the league when he didn't have to, where back then 6 men were looked at to be guys who just put up 20 points, buckets, or whatever, where Andre's impact was more so understanding the game. You know what I'm saying? Being this wing that could ball handle, you know, like help be another solid enough decision maker to where he's coming off the bench with a defensive boost, where him, Draymond, and Klay at their peak was just a stifling defense, right? Like that's what Andre did. And him just being a guy that always put the team first, no matter what it was. Like even when he won the MVP, he said, yeah, I'm happy about that, but I still think it should have been Steph. Like how he's a team first guy, you got to respect it. And you just don't see that many decision makers like him, where even in his oldest season, he was in the playoffs versus Portland getting critical steals on Dame in the Western Conference Finals. Like I remember these moments from Andre, right? Like how the iconic Curry versus OKC game where he sends him home, right? Before that, hitting the 2 clutch free throws to even get us to overtime so we can have that moment, right? That's what Andre provided for this team. And you got to respect it because, again, a lot of players would not go from being like an all-star caliber player and like doing all these things to sacrificing as much as they did to win multiple titles. Andre was a big part of why we had a death lineup in the first place. Having another wing type to shoot the ball and make choices just took us so far, so long to where we're asking Andre at a super older age to guard a prime James Harden, right? And he's doing a really good job at it. I mean, those things without him, I don't think we win the same way or even at all without Andre or a player like Andre. So big shout out to him. Great career. And I appreciate him, man. Honestly, he had some very key moments. He had big shot after big shot for us when we needed him to as well. You just don't find players like Andre who are that smart, but also that willing to sacrifice for the team. And I think that on top of what Steph and Klay have done, for Andre to sacrifice, it really helped create our culture of we're a team first type of team. So big shout out to Andre Iguodala for sure.
Yeah, I want to know like after Haley goes off, I just want to know like what were your even chat if you want to put some of your favorite Iggy moments as well, like what were some of your favorite Iggy moments in his Warriors tenure? Because I have a few that I would like to share, but my bad, Haley, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I guess my final words is it's always hard, and it's just like a reminder we're getting older when like our favorite players are like aging out of the league. It's crazy because he's just been around so long. I mean, not even just his time with the Warriors, but you know, all around the league. I think every team that Iggy has played for embraced him, loved him, missed him. Like he's just had such a huge impact on so many people. And for a lot of people that have asked, like, what is he going to be a coach? And, you know, I think a lot of us would say he would be a fantastic coach. It sounds like he's kind of going a different direction for now, but I think we'll see him again in the league one day. I think he'll circle back and take that void. But yeah, it's tough though. Like I'm sad. And people now are just arguing, is he going to be in the Hall of Fame or yes or no? I think he will be, but yeah, we're gonna miss him for sure. So
Yeah, I will definitely miss him. Now, to get into these A game moments, man. There's a lot. There's a lot. But for me, I'm not gonna state the obvious ones because I don't know which ones. I don't want to pick too many. But if I were to pick a favorite Iggy moment, was 2016 Western Conference Finals Game 6 fourth quarter. That post up possession against Russell Westbrook to get that strip was so important. Like the fact that we were already down 3-1, we were trying to come back, we were in the midst of a battle. He was putting on a defensive masterclass in that fourth quarter against both Russ and KD. And on top of that, getting that strip, leaking out to a scorching hot Klay Thompson, who was doing some insane things, nothing we've ever seen in a postseason setting in terms of 3-point shot making like that in a long time. Like, he was tremendous in that series. Absolutely tremendous. And I wish he was 100% healthy going into those finals, but he wasn't. But that was really like it really hurt us defensively. But he was doing some unspeakable things against that Thunder team, and he was very vital for that 3-1 comeback in 16. So that was definitely my favorite moment. Is when he stripped that ball. I don't know if it was him who he got the outlet pass to Klay to for Klay to hit that transition three to. I think the score was. I'll be surprised if I remember this exactly. I think it was 101 to 104, and we were down 3. And I think that shot either gave us a tie game or it gave us the lead. So, yeah. So I think that was definitely my favorite Iggy moment. I want to hear your guys's though. So go ahead.
For me, I gotta say my favorite is the one that people don't talk about that often. 2019 Andre, even though he was much older, the amount of clutch moments he had during that postseason run was crazy. The clutch 3-pointer he hit versus the Raptors in Game 2 of the finals, right? Like, we're already a very undermanned team. That he just hit an insanely big shot to help us win that game. I mean, that type of stuff. Being that old and still being that productive on the court just showed you how much of a true professional Andre Iguodala was. But I think my number one beyond that has to be the game-winning steal he got in the Western Conference Finals against Portland. Obviously, we were beating up on that team regardless, but the way he just stripped Dame at the peak of his powers and just went on the other way and sealed the possession for us and dribbled it out, and we won that way. I mean, I remember the emotion just seeing him do that at his age. That's probably my favorite moment.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. Like, we had him for 19 seasons. And his career was just, I don't know, he always grew. And one of the biggest things, like, even about LeBron, like, one of the things that I want to, like, if I could sit down with, like, Iggy or LeBron, I would want to know everything about how this works. Like, LeBron, when Iggy plays, they know the move that every single person on that court is going to make 3 plays from now, or, like, not really, but it's just, like, they're so smart and their IQ is so high, and that's what I would just love to hear about Iggy. It's gonna be tough though. Like, our younger guys, like, they learn so much from him. But yeah, but we do have to move on because we only have 5 minutes left. And I want to get our predictions for opening night games. So the 2 game predictions. So KB, for the first game, Nuggets versus Lakers, can you drop your prediction?
Nuggets blowout.
Really?
Nuggets will acquire that ring, and I know how ring nights usually go. The only time was it? I'm trying to think of a ring night where the away team actually came off with the upset.
It would be the unfortunate San Antonio Spurs when we won the title.
Was that 16?
Nah, that was the year we had KD.
No, but we came off a finals loss though. We didn't come off a finals win. We didn't win the finals. We lost in 2016.
I could have sworn the Spurs played us opening night after we won.
No. I'm saying yes, you did. You're right, but we didn't win the title. We didn't win the title, so it wasn't ring night for us. We lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 16.
Oh,
you're saying opening.
So when it's ring night for the Nuggets, like who was the last team that had a ring night that in which they lost to the away team?
Yeah. I think it's happened recently, has it not?
Because the Warriors just played the Lakers for ring night. They blew them out. Year prior was the Bucks, and who did they play on? They lost?
I don't know. I feel like they did. I think it's just recent.
I don't know.
Maybe the Raptors? I forget who they played ring night after Kawhi left.
They lost Kawhi, so
yeah. So
I just think Nuggets get the ring night. Stadium's gonna be jumping. I think it'll be close for a little bit, and then Nuggets are probably just gonna torch them in the third quarter, and then game's over. But I still think like that doesn't mean the Lakers aren't gonna compete with this team. I think they can, but I just think the Nuggets for that specific night, because of what's gonna happen, just how the ceremony goes, and like who knows? It might motivate the Lakers to even beat them even more. Like, but the energy just matters in that sort of situation. And,
I agree.
They come out the gate. Murray might just hit a step back three already and just start like, you know what I'm saying? Start doing he might start going crazy. So like, So Nuggets blowout.
More than 20, more than 15. What are we looking at?
I'll say the scoreboard is going to be 124 to 105.
Okay. Damn. Okay. I think Denver wins, but I think it's actually very competitive. All summer long, the Lakers have been talking about how they want to basically get back for what Denver did to them. They've been saying, yeah, we heard the coastal comments. I don't really buy into it that much from Denver side, because really the only one that really cares about that is slightly Jamal Murray. Like 90% of it goes to Mike Malone, and Jokic don't care. Like, he doesn't care. So like, right. But the Lakers seem to care about it way more than the Nuggets do collectively. So I think they're going to try to play extremely hard for ring night. I don't think they're going to be blown out. I think it's going to be a competitive game, but I still think Denver edges them out and they win ring night. It's just tough because in the regular season, LA matches up super well with Denver, and they bust their ass a couple times last year during the regular season. So it wouldn't surprise me if LA won this, but I still would go Denver.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come down to some of the calls that the Lakers always get. So that could be one way they win. But I do think that I think that the Nuggets are gonna pull this one out, especially like what you said, QB's ring night. They're celebrating their reigning champs. And then I'll start for Warriors Suns. This one I'm actually a little bit more torn on. I think that the Suns could easily win on opening night. I think we've shown a lot in the preseason, but I think this early on our matchup, Draymond not even having played in the system at all so far this season. I don't know if they're integrating him on opening night. It's what I think is happening.
He's playing 5-on-5 now. Anthony Slater came out with a report saying that he was playing 5-on-5.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he's probably going to be on track to play on Tuesday. That's what I was thinking. Like, so
it's not like he's had 12 years in the Bay. So I mean, they'll be just fine. But they haven't played with these younger guys yet. So I'm gonna take Warriors. It's definitely biased though. I would not be disappointed. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns win. Gifted.
Oh, it's tough.
You said the Warriors are winning, Haley, or the Suns?
I think that the Suns probably will win, but of course I'm gonna pick the Warriors. But yeah.
I think the Suns win game one. And I say this because Draymond hasn't played in the system just yet. Our defense is looking very, very rough. I think Draymond changes a lot of it, but I think it's going to take some time to really work that in. I think the Suns have had their roster fully, so they are, still learning and understanding exactly how to play with each other. But I think it's going to be a competitive game. I will still lean Suns based on what we know to be true about the team right now. Yeah. But Golden State also has some things they can exploit with that Suns defense. I think Kuminga having a very big night can get us the win. I still think we can win, but I think the Suns are going to win. So I'm going to say the Suns are going to win. We'll see what happens though.
Yeah.
I have my co-hosts are wussies, chat. I have the Warriors winning, bro. I have the Warriors winning.
Okay.
First of all, it's opening night.
After all that, KB.
I'm still, regardless of the end of the day, how realistic I can get. I will be biased when I have to be. The Warriors will steamroll these niggas. How about that? I'll
Actually, I like that because I remember one time it was coming in like that, and people were so surprised when they waxed them. They can wax them.
We can definitely, especially opening night. Yo, opening night.
Steph,
listen,
KD.
Let me tell you something. Haley. Let me tell you something.
All right.
Steph gets up for games like this, man. If there's one thing I see, Steph likes getting up for. When Steph plays KD, he likes to get up and he gets ready. I remember the last time.
This is true.
When in Brooklyn, when that headline matchup of the Brooklyn's big three, or it was James and KD at the time versus the Warriors at 22. Steph got up and he got ready for that game.
Oh yeah.
I think Draymond will be back. I don't think Draymond will miss this game. I think he'll be back. I think but he had enough time. The 5v5 he's playing currently right now, so I think he should be good.
Yeah.
So they'll be back. Draymond doesn't really have to be quote unquote integrated unless he's on the floor with Chris Paul, which he shouldn't be. Steve Kerr, if you're hearing this, do not play him on the same time with CP3 at all. So yeah, I think the Warriors win opening night. I think it's gonna be competitive for the first three, and I think we just eke out like a solid little 116 to 108 win. You know, Steph has like 32 on like 6 made threes. Kuminga's putting up crazy, like going crazy defensively. The Warriors are just cruising. You know, I got the Warriors, man. I got my dubs, bro.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm just envisioning Steph, Draymond high pick and roll with Nurkic as the drop big.
Come on, bro. Like no one's really like and they have to. Who are they gonna take out one of the big three to put in a Kogi for POA, bro? And then you lose even more size, bro. Come on, like
bro. I did want to say Warriors. I'm not gonna lie. I just, bro. I'm like right here because it's close.
Stay on that side, guys. Stay on that side.
Here we go. Here we go. Stay on that side.
Well, we got to wrap up for tonight. Yeah, so but also make sure to come through on Tuesday if you guys want to get a little pregame for tip-off. Make sure to come through with our Lakers or the Lake Show collab with us and ZZ and 7 over there. Make sure to get the likes up too before you guys check out. But other than that, any last words for today's show?
Hey man, NBA basketball is back. I've been working extremely hard this entire offseason on bettering the content and analyzing basketball way more. KB also got some big things coming this season as well, so make sure to tap in with us. We're going to be doing like spaces on Twitter to cover the games while they're going on for halftimes and post game, so tap in for those as well. A lot is coming, and we finally have basketball. Haley, I can't wait to see how we do in terms of covering our team this season, so things should be fun. Make sure to support us.
Make sure to support us. We're gonna kill it. I'm taking a little break from creation. I'll be back today, actually. But yeah, we're all ramping up for this NBA season. It's gonna be so much fun. So appreciate you guys for checking in today. And we'll see you next Sunday. Well, we'll see you Tuesday and then next Sunday.
Peace out, people.
Deuces, y'all.